Oh my God, that was so good. Oh my God. John, somebody wake up John. We got a show to do. God, that was awesome. Oh my God, that was so good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Essential Wrestling Podcast. This is our WrestleMania show, our Takeover post show, Raw After Mania, Hardcore Justice. We are here to discuss it all. We are not worn down. We are more excited than ever. I think that was an absolutely incredible weekend. We are going 5 strong for this show today. Starting in the bottom corner with our first ever Pro Wrestling Pick'em.com champion, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, we spent some days, some nights together. How are things from your end, pal?
Split happy. I'll let you fill in the blanks.
Yeah. Next to him, as always, John Smith. John, again, we were together for most of the weekend as well when we were able to. Welcome back to the show as always. You got your Legado del Fantasma shirt on. You look excited.
Yeah, I haven't taken it off since last Wednesday, so it's a little stinky. But I had to keep it on once he took the titles. So I've been taking baths from the waist down. That's about it.
Up in the top, I guess the right corner of the screen, from overseas, Gary. We're gonna keep you on. We're keeping you on today. You got just as much involved in this as everybody else. And Gary, top of the evening to you, Milani.
Good evening. It was definitely, on the one hand, it was almost the longer weekend for me because every night WrestleMania didn't start until 1 a.m. over here, so it was a long night, but it was a worthwhile night.
I was say, like once or twice a year, you got to suck it up. And then there's from minutestobelltime.com, we have Ryan Joy, who was on assignment this weekend at Raymond James Stadium, amongst other places.
Al, I've watched about 33 hours of live wrestling from Wednesday to Sunday night. Boy, I'm still recovering. So
yeah, I gotta say, you were telling me after the Daily Wrestling News this morning, you fell asleep for a while. You almost forgot to send me the graphics for
That's
the
right.
show.
That's right.
So we're going 5 strong today. The Sheriff, unfortunately, Ty will not be able to be with us. But going on today's show, we have NXT TakeOver, Stand and Deliver, which was amazing. We have Impact's Hardcore Justice, that was amazing. As you can see, Gary Mehaffy is here to discuss NXT UK Prelude, which was amazing. Ryan Joy is here with us as well, like I said, from minutestobelltime.com. He's going to be going over, I guess, Ring of Honor and a couple other indie things that he got to witness this weekend. And then Ring of Honor's got a huge, what did you say, their 500th episode coming up, right?
Right. Yeah, 500th episode of TV.
Yep. I'm going to be revealing number 52 on my all-time favorite WrestleMania. That's over and done with. Done and done. That list is now put to rest. We will go for maybe something else going in the next WrestleMania. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows. You will see graphics presented this week by minutestobelltime.com, as always. And, of course, our picks are sponsored by the brand new 2021-22 season of Pro Wrestling Pick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And, guys, she'll like it, too. We're going to main event the show with All Elite Wrestling and Chris Jericho completely shredding Pinnacle in his in-ring promo, which was absolutely incredible. But there is only one way to kick off the show. The grandest spectacle of them all, the granddaddy of them all, I believe is the phrase, right? The Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania, the 37th edition, or I guess as they put on Peacock Network, it's season 37, episodes 1 and 2. And we're going to start off as Vince McMahon. He came out. He welcomed the WWE Universe back. He had, all the wrestlers were on stage, pretty socially distanced. I thought it was a nice little touch right there. Then there was a 30-minute delay. Weather. But the show will go on. The show must go on. The show did go on. But that kind of sucked to have had to have been there, right, huh?
Yeah, it was a little rough. I mean, we were like all ready to go, and then they announced that we have to leave, and we thought that was a joke at first, and then we're like, it's not a joke. And I was afraid they were going to start it without us there. So anyway, it all worked out half an hour later.
Yeah, like I said, it was only a half an hour delay. There was potential threats of it being a delayed end of the show. That did not happen. It was smooth sailing from there going forward. Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil, they came out. They welcomed us to the show as the hosts. And then they kicked off the show with something that we did not know going into our WrestleMania special Saturday afternoon. I guess they announced that morning that, Gary, your boy was up first.
Yeah, and as I was saying before we started, it kind of confused me because with it being 1 a.m. over here, I'd fallen asleep. And when I woke up at 1:40 a.m. our time, Drew was coming to the ring, and I thought that my network feed had stopped because I didn't realize there'd been a delay for 30 minutes because of the weather. So I was restarting my network until I realized it was right. Yeah, when we had Drew coming in with the match against Bobby coming in doing as the opening match for the first night, which was a great night. A lot of big suplexes, a lot of moves. Everybody had thought going in, especially if they were going to be the first match in, that we would potentially get the big title change for the big pop, which unfortunately didn't come, but it has to be said, was a great match, and I did love the finish. I have to say, harking back to, was it Bret Hart, was it Roddy Piper? I think it mainly was at the match when there was the sleeper on, and in this case it was the Hurt Lock, and Drew tried the feet on the turnbuckle to push back, and Bobby held on, and we got the ref stoppage, which came as a shock, certainly to me. Rand might be able to say from the fans' point of view, but it came as a shock. But it was nice to actually see the ref stoppage, and as we had said, I did think it was too early to take a title off Bobby. I was 100% convinced that Drew was taking the title for the big pop, but they had a great match, and to kind of overlook the fact that Drew obviously didn't bring the title back, but I think we still have to look at it and say it was a really, really good match to kick off the two nights.
Yeah, I honestly think that match did the WWE Championship proud. I don't think there was any problem, comparing that. I mean, it wasn't Eddie and Angle, but we know it also, wasn't, well, I guess, I don't know, Hogan and Bundy, or, actually, let's just go right to last year. It wasn't freaking McIntyre and Lesnar. So, so Bobby got the title. He's done something not many people can say they did. He retained the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Right up after that was Tag Team Turmoil. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, I guess, was just too big for just one night, so they had a Tag Team Turmoil to determine the winners. I don't think it was any much of a shock that Natalya and Tamina won this. I felt they were kind of the favorites going in there. I went with the Riot Squad. I went with Liz and Jersey, and I think they shined. They kind of stole this match. They had 2 eliminations. Ruby Riott pinned Billie Kay, and then Liv Morgan pinned Mandy Rose after Mandy Rose did her Ultimo Dragon impersonation, walking down the entrance, which they had a little fun on Raw at her expense. But Natalya and Tamina got it done, so they had the daunting task to win 2 matches in one weekend, and we'll get to that in a little bit because we're going kind of in show order here. And then John Smith, the match that we were all looking forward towards. Seth Rollins and Cesaro. Seth seemed pretty confident in his interview when they were killing time with the delay. It was actually fun with this delay too, Ryan. I'm not sure if they were showing it, but the wrestlers didn't have scripts, and they were trying to cut legit promos, and you can kind of tell who can go without a script and who kind of needs somebody to write something for them. But John Smith, Cesaro, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, those promos, for the most part, were really good, especially the Kevin Owens promo. But, the Cesaro and Seth Rollins match, you know me, I'm not much of a Seth Rollins guy, but my eyes are always on Cesaro, so I was keeping a close eye on this one. And, Seth, yes, he's a good wrestler. I'm not going to take anything away from him. And the fact that he's in there with Cesaro, just makes it even that much better because they've been going at it since the Ring of Honor days. I said to my one friend, or I think I said it to you guys, I can't believe Tyler Black's going up against Claudio Castagnoli right now. Like that's what half the marks were saying at that point. I was saying it to be, kind of sarcastic. But Cesaro did that UFO move that you've never really seen him do in the WWE, which was freaking awesome. I haven't seen it before. I feel like I have seen it, but like never really paid attention to it on a clip or something. But that was an awesome move, and then he swung him 23 times. It was actually 19. I counted myself.
Yeah. Crowd gets a little quick with that count, Yeah,
Cesaro got the much-needed victory at WrestleMania in his first ever singles match because he needed it way more than Seth did.
Yeah, he got the win with the crotch neutralizer, so that's one and done for that. So good for him. After that, we had he grabs him by the crotch, and then he drops him forward. The crotch neutralizer. John DeConnie, the Raw Tag Team Championships, the New Day had a little fun. I want to say that those are the outfits they were supposed to wear last year, that they had the zeros crossed out with a 1 put over. So that was kind of fun. They had a little pirate theme going. I know we had that conversation on the special, but Omos got that tag.
Yeah, it was predicted on our special, I think by John Smith and code by yourself, that AJ would take a beating in this match, and it absolutely happened. AJ was, just couldn't get out of his own way. He was getting handled by both members of the New Day, and we got to tag into Omos, and who, when he first came down, I just had to giggle because he was in like a thigh-length jacket that he looked like he comes to the ring every week. He looked like it was his street clothes. And he was still in, what looked like pants, but he could move. And we didn't get to see too much of him because he pretty much just wrecked the place by standing in, a 3-foot circle. They kind of came to him and he, beat the hell out of him back and forth and sideways, up and down. And then eventually he grabbed what at first glance looked like a choke slam, but I guess on the replay I saw he was kind of under the armpits. He grabbed I don't remember even which one it was. He grabbed one of the members of the New Day, brought him up to 9 feet in the air, slammed him down, and then at AJ's insistence, pinned him with just a foot on on his chest, and 1, 2, 3 new tag champs. So we got to see just enough of Omos to see that, but little enough that he can continue to impress us. I think earlier in the week, if he has one move per match every time we see him in the ring, we're going to be like, okay, here's one more thing he can do. He's that good, and we don't have a full taste of him yet, but he's certainly not Kali.
No, he's not. Yeah, at the end, after he hit that, I thought AJ, because he kind of put his arm over to point at him. I'm like, don't be that guy to take the tag and steal the pin. And you just hear him go, pin him, one leg. I was like, nice. And that's the only one. They are now, in that title's history, they are the 65th combination to win the Raw / WWE, I guess the original WWE Tag Team Champions. I'm sorry, I said it was 2003 on the special. 2002 when Stephanie McMahon introduced those titles as the SmackDown Tag Team Championships back then. Braun Strowman defeated Shane McMahon in the second ever steel cage match. I guess 5th if you want to count Hell in a Cell, but if you want to just separate them, a little more, the cage is a cage. It all depends. But the second ever, the first one since Hogan and Bundy. Braun Strowman ripped open the cage and prevented Shane from escaping. Shane was on the other side going down. He ripped open the cage, dragged him back in, threw him off the top. Then Strowman got the win. So Braun defeated Brains, and for all the people that have been called dumb and stupid over their lives, Braun got the win for you. No more bullying from Shane McMahon. And then Ryan, how many bunnies were in the ring?
So many bunnies. The team of Priest and Bad Bunny, they hop a little, but Miz's squad hops a lot.
They hop a lot.
They told us.
That was a very Hugh Hefner like intro right there. A lot of bunnies in that. Right?
Yeah. Before we get to that, I did have a thought that Amos had Kofi way up in the air. Shane fell off the cage. I'm still not sure which one fell from a greater distance.
Yeah, right.
But the thing about this, first and foremost, you have a killer entrance from all four of them, right? Like Miz and Morrison, they come out with all these rabbits. They're not lip syncing, but they're singing over the top of the song that's already being played as they come to the ring. So great performance and dance from them. Then Damian Priest's entrance is just cool to begin with. And then Bad Bunny, this is how he travels normally. He rides on the top of an 18-wheeler truck. That's how he does it. And if you don't believe me, I saw Triple H give him a microphone, and then he got back on that truck and he's continuing to go out on tour. So
yeah, I think Becky Lynch is driving it too.
Well, we didn't see that. If we had seen that, there would have been an even bigger pop for Bad Bunny.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right.
But Bad Bunny looked great in this match. I really thought that the idea here was to give Damian Priest this great showcase and expose him to all these people that are watching because of Bad Bunny and, really give him the rub. But nobody's talking about Damian Priest after this match. They're talking about how great Bad Bunny was and how he can do the Puerto Rican Destroyer or how John Morrison can do a backflip. So in any case, it was a really, really good match. It was a Doomsday crossbody for the win. Everybody after it that I talked to in the hotel lobby and everything. Bad Bunny was the story of night one, or one of the stories.
Yeah, one of the stories. And Ryan, we're going to stay with you on this because I think the main story was the main event. Everyone, I don't say flip-flopped, but I think my initial reaction was like, you can come in hot with Bianca and Sasha, then you end it with McIntyre, but they flip-flopped it. And the one thing you can see on TV, I'm not sure if you were able to notice it from where you're sitting or if they sent it on a Titantron. The two of them were a little choked up when they were looking around, before the match started. Bianca was almost in tears. Sasha held it together a little bit, but they felt that. That was genuine. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, you have a WrestleMania first time back in over a year. It's being headlined by two black athletes for the first time, and two women black athletes. So lots of representation things, which is very important to Bianca Belair. The match was worked in such a way where Sasha didn't get a ton of offense. Bianca took most of that match, so Sasha was very giving in this to try to elevate Bianca Belair throughout the match. And Bianca did end up winning strong, and she's the new champion, kiss of death. And that celebration went on and on for a long time. I'm not sure if you guys saw Montez Ford come down afterwards to celebrate with her, but that happened, must be after the cameras went off the air and stuff. And then she celebrated with her family that was at ringside and stuff. So that went on for probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, they didn't show that, but they did show it, I guess, like a still of it last night on Raw. They showed Montez in the ring with her. So, yeah, so congratulations to Bianca Belair. I forgot to look up what number champion she is on the SmackDown. She's probably somewhere, I think, like 8 maybe, I want to say. There really hasn't been that many too many different SmackDown Women's Champions. I think Charlotte and Alexa Bliss have kind of rattled up all those title wins. Not to mention Bayley went 400 days with it, or 300 days. On tonight too, again, a match that we thought we would probably see at the end, and they started the show with it. They're coming in here on here. Bray Wyatt, he went through some kind of transformation. He was back to normal. It seemed like he stole Roman Reigns' protective vest, and I felt like that's what he was walking the aisle to. But I guess in fairness, Roman stole it from D'Lo Brown. So I don't know. I guess that's that circle of life here. I don't know where that goes. But that was the biggest Jack in the Box ever, Gary. But oh my God! And the part by Jack was played by the Fiend.
I know that's the same. When I saw him changing back into the Fiend, I thought, okay. And then obviously you had Alexa playing with her box at ringside, and then out pops the Fiend. And he went from the get-go, it was straight off the top of the box, charging at Randy. And I mean, when he no-sold, obviously, the back suplex or whatever onto the table, and he got up. And it was interesting when you had Orton on a lot of offense during the match, hitting him with moves, hitting driven DDT and stuff. And as I say, when it came to the end. I thought, okay, just as the Fiend had kicked back in and had taken control and was setting up for Sister Abigail, all of a sudden I thought Kane was coming back out. All the flames came up from ringside, and then all of a sudden you have Alexa Bliss in the black with the Ultimate Warrior goo from Papa Shango coming down the face, which distracted the Fiend, and then Orton hit the RKO and won. Now, because I'd read about the match before I'd seen it because of stuff with work, and there was a lot of negativity about it was a bad match. I actually watched it and really enjoyed it. It was short; it was 5.5 minutes or whatever. It was a good match, and obviously it now seems as if they're separating Bliss and the Fiend, but they had it set up at the end that actually, while people thought the Fiend had been controlling Bliss, it almost looked like Bliss had been controlling the Fiend come the end of it. So it was a good match, and again, it was an interesting way to set it up. I thought Bray Wyatt was going to go over, but it was an interesting way to take it. So
yeah, and Alexa Bliss said it last night. Like, she had all this time without the Fiend to gain her power, whatever. Now that she just realized she doesn't need him anymore. So that she explained that, and then Bray explained he had a Firefly Funhouse. He explained that I forget. I'll get to those notes in a second. I forget what he said last night. He's actually feeling pretty good what happened at Mania, I guess, right? That's pretty much what I got from that. Ryan, you have to say something here.
No, I was just waving goodbye like the Fiend. Like
next we had the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Natalya and Tamina, as we said before, won Tag Team Turmoil by lastly defeating the Riot Squad. They challenged Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. This upset me for one reason and one reason only. And they came out, Nia and Shayna came out together to Nia's music. And I'm like, okay. And when, hopefully Shayna gets the win here. Shayna got the win with the Karabuta clutch, and they played Nia's music. I was like, no, like that was not. You don't know. Yeah, Shayna got rooked on that one. So we had the first ever Women's Tag Team Championship title defense in WrestleMania history. Congrats to Nia and Shayna Baszler. Brian Joy, I have in my notes. You were there. You can confirm this. As far as I know, during that match was the first CM Punk chant.
Yes.
Okay, wow. So day one, night one, had no CM Punk chants.
Mm-mm.
Wow. Nope. All right. So Ryan, going back to you, we had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I guess I don't know if you caught this. When they fought in the ladder match at WrestleMania 32, or KO Mania 1, that ladder match started with Sami Zayn flying across the ring and kicking Kevin Owens' head off. He tried that again.
Yeah, no, I didn't catch that. But what I didn't catch that particular parallel commonality there. But it was interesting. After I got home from WrestleMania, I was able to go back and watch those pre-match promos before night one during the rain delay, and I think, John, you were saying Kevin Owens cuts a great promo, even in those circumstances. And he kind of set that up. They've wrestled hundreds of times all over the world, and that they're bringing this to WrestleMania. And I think they're both really excited to work this match. And you got the CM Punk chant in the last one. Well, I'll tell you, Sami Zayn came out. He was booed, right? Because that's his role. When Logan Paul came out, the wrestling fans did not accept him into the community. Wow. Logan Paul was booed like crazy, and I don't know if it was the whole plan that Logan Paul takes a stunner at the end of this thing, but it was the right call because the stadium blew apart when that occurred. But yeah. Super kick, stunner for the win for Kevin Owens. It wasn't quite the show-stopping, show-stealing match that I thought that we might get, but it was a good match. There's nothing wrong with it. Huge pop at the end with the Logan Paul stunner. So great stuff.
And then we went backstage. I guess Riddle was talking to Khali. Khali, was thinking, apparently Rob Van Dam can translate bro to Hindi, I guess, or than any language at least. So it was funny how Rob Van Dam. I'm sorry if they keep on. Did anyone else see Riddle on the bump when Rob Van Dam interrupted him? Every time Riddle said Rob Van Dam's name, he did that. It was really funny. Really funny segment.
I think that Rob Van Dam has been using Rosetta Stone. Thanks very much.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I think he always knew how to speak Hindi, but to speak bro, that takes a lot of Rosetta Stone. There you go. So John Smith, I have written down the match for MVP's United States Championship. At the beginning of the match, I forget the announcer was. Maybe it was Cole. Sheamus knows a thing or two about winning in 18 seconds at WrestleMania, which he does. But sitting next to somebody, Samoa Joe, he's like, I do too. As he remember, if you smoked Rey Mysterio in probably the same amount of time, he's like, you idiot. He's like, I do too. But yeah, absolutely great match. This match far exceeded my expectations. These two kicked the crap out of each other.
Yeah, Riddle came out like a ball of fire, and Sheamus just kept swatting him off. It was great. 5-6 hits, kicks, punches, and then a big elbow from Sheamus. Stop that. Get off me. He was like a big brother, little brother situation. It was awesome. Riddle ended up getting one good move off the top rope. It was a belly-to-belly suplex where he flipped through and landed in a moonsault on top of him at the same time, which was freaking awesome. But it was not enough, because when he did a moonsault off the second rope to try to do some sort of plancha on Sheamus, he received a brogue kick to the bottom of his chin. It was the most perfectly timed brogue kick I've ever seen. It's on par with some of Randy Orton's RKOs at WrestleMania and stuff.
Yep.
But, not too many people had Sheamus winning this one. I mean, amongst us, I think we did, but generally speaking, not too many people had Sheamus winning. And, I think this was the right call, because he's been on another level ever since he started that program with Drew back in November, December. And this is the best Sheamus we've had ever. And I've always been a fan of Sheamus, but I think he's even better than he's ever been.
Yeah, I'll concur with that. I think everybody else is shaking their head as well. I think we can all concur to that. And then, John DeConnie, we had back-to-back title changes. The Intercontinental Championship match was up next. It was the Nigerian drum match. Good news, bad news for you, John DeConnie. Good news is, great call on Dabba-Kato. Bad news is, it was the wrong match.
The timing is always off. Yeah. An interesting idea, just the wrong timing. Yeah, so we had.
I'll give you half credit for that. It takes balls to call for Dabba-Kato at WrestleMania out of nowhere.
So these guys, they didn't get quite as long as I would have thought. They got less than 7 minutes for this match, and the match itself was, kind of caught me off guard. I don't know if I missed something in the explanation to it. I literally thought there was going to be somebody beating a drum.
Yeah.
Instead, it was a modified hardcore match with a couple of drums at ringside that basically never got touched. So these two beat the hell out of each other with kendo sticks. There were a couple of nice spots on the ring steps. But in the end, Dabba-Kato came out, although they refused to call him by name. So clearly he's going for a name change. I know Ryan knows the new name. He can fill that in a second here. And he delivered a chokeslam to Big E.
Knowing WWE is probably just Kato.
Ryan, what's
Commodore Aziz is the name that they trademarked.
Commodore, okay.
You can see it, right?
Commodore Aziz. Yeah. So he delivers a big choke slam on Big E, drags Apollo on top of Big E, and we have ourselves a new Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, the match before that, Sheamus, that was his third United States Championship title win. Apollo Crews becomes the 87th different Intercontinental Champion in history. So we're approaching 90. Then probably in a couple of years or so, I say maybe like 5 years from now, we probably will get the number 100. Here comes, I guess, Hogan and Titus were dressed as pirates here. And then here comes Bayley. Bayley's upset. She was chiming in all weekend. Bayley was absolutely great. Ryan, do you want to put your hat on and fill in the rest of this story here?
Well, I don't really remember it all except for the Bellas kicked her out of her spot.
Yeah, that
and
was
knocked
pretty
her
much
down the
it.
ramp.
Bellas came out and kicked Bailey's ass, and then they rode off in the sunset with Hogan and Titus.
There you go.
Then we got the main event of the show. Triple threat match. I was watching with Tyler at the time. We had just gotten back from work. We watched it. We chimed. Oh, we're not there yet. I jumped the gun on this one. The Raw Women's Championship. They did Asuka dirty. Again, they're just not letting Asuka win at WrestleMania. This is nothing against Rhea Ripley. I like Rhea. I'm happy for Rhea. Like, can we get Asuka a win here? Like, this is
literally the best women's wrestler in the world.
What's that?
She's literally the best women's wrestler in the world, and they just keep screwing her.
Yeah. Like, that would have been, I don't know. I thought they would put it on late. I figured Asuka, but, Rhea Ripley, she had the live band music. We knew that was coming. I'm not sure what the name of that band was, but they played that This Is My Brutality music for her on the way to the ring. Match was great. Did the Raw Championship proud. These two women are at the top of their game. But it was a riptide and done. Asuka was not ready for Rhea. They had a rematch last night. We'll get to that in a sec because it got a little more interesting in that match. But Rhea Ripley, I have her down. I believe this is number 9. She's the 9th ever Raw Women's Champion. So the next different champion we have will be number 10. So, again, Asuka done dirty. Sasha Banks got done dirty. Natty and Tamina got off the schneid. They got their first WrestleMania wins. Big E got done dirty. That's 5 in a row for Big E. So, Big E's looking to get back on the win in the win column. He couldn't get it done.
In his hometown.
No R-Truth, so I got my wish. Tito's record is still intact as the longest losing consecutive streak in WrestleMania history. Arriba!
Although
And then
Bianca's moving in, though.
You can't really see my Tito picture, what the way the setup is. But then we go to the main event. Someone who didn't get done dirty was Roman Reigns. So he looked like the head of the table. He was booked every way I wanted him to be booked in this. That I was saying on the WrestleMania special. Pinning both Edge and Daniel Bryan at the same time, though. That was a nice little touch. Edge did a concerto on Daniel Bryan to take him out, and then Roman gave one to Edge to take him out. So the one thing that we kind of forgot to talk about on our WrestleMania special, we were talking about the triple threat, and we were so focused on Roman Reigns not having to be pinned to lose the title, we completely lost sight of the fact that this was no disqualification, and holy crap, did they take advantage of that. So an absolutely great main event. Roman Reigns, I believe, is now the 4th person in WrestleMania history to walk into the main event, the last match on the show, walk in as champion, walk out as champion. He joins Triple H right there, my favorite WrestleMania match of all time. He did it first at WrestleMania 2000. The Miz beat John Cena at 27. Brock Lesnar defeated Roman Reigns at 34, and now Roman Reigns wins this to join that club. But the fun fact, I was watching with Tyler. Now back to this point. I was walking back to Tyler. Edge's music played, and Tyler's like, he's like, you got to think about this. Like, this is the second time. Now, Edge has been back for over a year and a half now. This is only the second time he's been in front of fans. He was at the 2020 Royal Rumble, and then that was it. So you could see his music is great as it is. His entrance is great, and you could just see on this day he saw clearly. So that was a lot of fun. The yes chants were great. So that'll put a bow on WrestleMania here. We'll just go around the horn. One last final thoughts, final whatever WrestleMania. John DeConnie, we'll start with you down on the bottom first. Final thoughts, any thoughts, something that we didn't touch on. What would you like to say?
No, I think we covered everything, and I'll say I did not agree with some of the outcomes, as I've been saying since it all went down. I was not a fan of some of the choices they made, but overall, WrestleMania, I never really leave WrestleMania without a big old smile on my face. So Mania is Mania, and I loved it.
All right, John Smith.
I'm very, very happy that Bobby Lashley retained his title because I think he deserved it more than anybody else on that card.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of upset that Jey Uso got so involved in the main event. It kind of took away the purpose of Roman beating two guys at once if he's going to get help, you know?
Yeah, he was out of control in the beginning, Gary. Then they calmed him down. They took him out, but he came back out at the end, if I remember correctly. Gary, anything from your end?
I just think one of the big things that people often say about WWE is the need to make new stars, and I think we could see that they've tried that with Bianca and with Rhea, that they've kind of gone, okay, we're going to reset a wee bit, we're going to put some new people into the top of the mix here, and let's do it. So I'm glad to see that, although as John DeConte was saying, there were some of the other decisions I wouldn't have agreed with, but I was glad to see that they're trying to introduce some new fresh faces. So.
Ryan, you were there. Your overall experience, it sounded like you and Travis had a grand old time.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. I was there for their last show with fans on March 9th of 2020. It was a Monday Night Raw. And I was there for their first show back with fans. I think some of the NXT shows have had fans, but this is the first major show that they had actual fans at. I was really grateful to be there. It was a lot of fun. It was a great show. The production behind Wrestlemania makes it so spectacular. It's unlike any wrestling event that you'll see any other time. I would literally watch wrestling in an amphitheater, a parking lot, and then at a huge stadium, all within the space of 4 days. So, awesome.
All right, Ryan, and then I guess we have the honor and privilege of letting you know, we're going to be going over our final standings for all of the brands and then the overall standings. And here are our final WWE standings for ProWrestlingPick'em.com. And Ryan Joy is our WWE champion. Ryan went 9-5 at WrestleMania for 165 points. So he got the top nod. I came in second. Gary chimed in with 11-3. Gary said, I don't know how you wouldn't agree with the outcomes if you got them all right. You know? John Smith, again, true to form, 500. If you saw the WrestleMania special graphic, he was 500 going into WrestleMania. John is the epitome of consistency, I can tell you that. John DeConte didn't do so well. Tyler did okay. Tyler got Roman Reigns away, so he got a lot more points than John DeConte did. But Ryan Joy is our new Pro Wrestling Pick'em WWE champion.
Watch out, Bobby Lashley. I've got the belt.
So then we go right into Monday Night Raw. And John Smith, we start the show. Here comes Bobby, dressed to the nines, looking to celebrate. Riddle comes in looking like an idiot. And Riddle coaxes him into a match. You know, so Riddle just come off the loss. He just lost MVP's United States title. So MVP wasn't happy about that. But, Riddle got him coaxed into a match. Bobby whooped his ass. It was actually a pretty long match, but I think Riddle had literally one offensive move that entire time. Then MVP, he had an in-ring promo. The celebration was interrupted by Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, and firstly by Drew McIntyre, all wanting the title. John Smith, and they had a triple threat at the end.
Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty good one, but I think the outcome of that was pretty predictable once they called it WrestleMania Backlash for the name of the pay-per-view. It kind of tells you that you're going to get a bunch of rematches. So, you know, going into that match, I thought it was a lock that Drew was winning it. Not only because he's better, but because of that reasoning. But you got to stop calling it MVP's United States title. It is the current United States title, and it is way better looking than the old one. So you got to stop that.
But MVP made it. That's his belt. He was the one that.
It's your way of illegitimizing it.
No, but it is the United States Championship. It is. But it's MVP's United States title. The belt is physically MVP's. The title, the championship. That's.
Oh, so if he gets fired, then he gets to take the belt with him, and they go back to the old one?
I would think so. I mean, I'm sure Apollo Cruz's kids are still playing with the other one. I'm sure, someone can beat one of Apollo's kids to win the belt back. It's really not that. It shouldn't be that difficult. I think they won like 8 and 10. But Ryan Joy, we had a couple returns last night. The second one that returned, Charlotte Flair, she was pretty pissed.
As for everybody else, I think, it's kind of funny. Her whole promo was based around the idea that everybody thinks she takes opportunities from all the other people on the roster, and she's basically saying "F you" to all of them. She said, she's back. The old Charlotte is gone. We have a new Charlotte now. Karma's a bitch. So is it, and I am that bitch. That's what she said.
Yeah.
So. Enjoy your title match that I should have been in. And then she inserted herself into that title match when Rhea and Asuka had their rematch later in the night. Charlotte attacked, causing a no contest there. So it looks pretty clear that we're going to have some WrestleMania Backlash here. Charlotte wanted to be at WrestleMania. She wasn't at WrestleMania for any circus of reasons that we could think of and that she explained. And I think we're probably going to get her at Backlash.
I think that might be a fun triple threat at Backlash.
Yeah.
I know, Ryan, I know we talked about it this morning. There was music in my head that entire time after Charlotte came down. That would have been a perfect time for Eva Marie to come down and just whoop all three of their asses and get herself back into the mix. So, Eva Marie, a.k.a. the Asuka Killer. She owns Asuka from back in the NXT days. We didn't see Becky Lynch either. I think Gary, you said that would have been a perfect time to bring in Beckers.
Or even Ronda.
Yeah, I can say once you bring in Becky, you got to bring in Ronda. I think it's got to be, if not the same night, maybe about a week after or the pay-per-view after. Like, Ronda's going to be just hell-bent on kicking her ass. So I'm actually looking forward. And I hope it's I hope they just go all out. Like, no disqualifications or throw them in the cell or just something crazy.
I was hoping that they reconciled and we're going to join the tag team turmoil as a team.
That's just like saying, like, in a wrestling match, okay, so for the next match, the Viking Raiders return against Cedric and Alexander. That's like saying, like, you know what? I hope all 4 guys have fun. I hope everybody gets along and plays nice and just has a great time. But Ryan, there's the Viking Raiders. They returned. They got the win over Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander with the Viking experience. As we discussed, Alexa Bliss, she does not need the Fiend anymore. We discussed that during the WrestleMania recap. And then, like I said, Bray Wyatt says he was feeling pretty good after what happened. He's going to be reborn. So I guess an Inferno match with these two. I mean, where are we going with this one? I mean, this is gonna be nuts. So I guess to be continued with these two, it's gonna be a lot of the fun. The Miz, he had Miz TV. He had his beautiful bride on, Maurice. She's back on, along with John Morrison. John seems like I feel like he's going to be left out of this equation now that Maurice is back. You can kind of get the hint that this breakup is unfortunately coming. We had a couple great points. He made Bad Bunny the star. Ryan Joy, you were saying before, all the talk was about Bunny, and because Miz, helped Bunny do that. He made Bunny into the star that he is. So shout out to the Miz. But here comes Damian Priest, and then Maurice had John and Miz challenge him to a hardcore match. Here comes James Gage. James, what's going on, buddy? Glad to have you. Hope you're enjoying the show. Then here comes, there's a 2-on-1 handicap match. The Miz and Morrison got the job done. The Miz in his underwear with a roll-up, with his feet on the ropes, with Maurice grabbing one of the legs. I mean, that was an actually beautiful cheating win by the Miz and Maurice. Nice win over Damian Priest. John DeConnie, I believe I stole your thunder on that one. I apologize.
Quite all right. Yeah. The only other thing that I was going to point out, but you covered that as well, is that Morrison makes a very uncomfortable third wheel. So now maybe Maurice was just back to plug the fact that their show was following Raw. But if she sticks around, wouldn't it be interesting if Morrison and Frankie Monet wound up going against the Misses somewhere down the line?
Why would Morrison team with his dog?
I think John's new name would be John Valkyrie.
Oh my God, Frankie and Johnny Monet. That'd be pretty funny. I like that, Johnny Monet. That actually sounds. That sounds Monet. That sounds money. There you go. Mandy Rose, like I said, she pulled an Ultimo Dragon or a Goldberg or whoever you want to call you, slipping down the ramp. But you can't go Titus O'Neil. Although Titus, with that slick ramp, he would have got some serious distance down that thing if he actually went full slip and slide like he did at the Rumble. He would have went pretty far. Billy Gunn's got some pretty serious distance too. Whenever you see him slide into a ring back in the Attitude Era. So, playing off the joke, I guess Nia and Shayna were laughing at it. Then they went to the ring. Nia slipped getting into the ring, and she tripped over the ropes and fell. And then during the match, she slipped getting up, and Mandy and Dana were laughing at her as the replay. Mandy and Dana just bounced, which was funny. They got counted out. They're like, we're not dealing with this. And you know what? To their credit, that was probably the smartest thing you could possibly do. You know what? It's dangerous enough wrestling Nia Jax as it is. To piss off and embarrass Nia Jax, that would have been. I don't think we would have seen either of those two for months with legitimate injuries if they had stayed and finished that match. So shout out to Mandy and Dana for being smart on that one. Mandy's already felt the Nia rack, right? She lost some time with her shoulder, I think, because of Nia. And then the New Day, they defeated Elias and Jackson Ryker after the double stomp finisher. So that will do it for the Raw after Mania. A little bit of an uneventful Raw after Mania. They've been kind of, they went downhill the past couple of years. We didn't get any big surprises. Normally this is where the NXT call-ups come from, and it seems like they've been doing that throughout the year now. First with Keith Lee, and then with Retribution, and then with Rhea. So it just seems like they're doing everything beforehand. So I feel like maybe once they get to live crowds after Mania, maybe we'll start getting some of that. On the SmackDown before, we had the SmackDown, the WrestleMania edition of SmackDown. We'll just go over two matches real quick. John DeConnie, I guess both of these matches we thought would be at WrestleMania in some way, shape, or form. I guess this was kind of their kickoff show. Somebody, I guess, mentioned that they did it this way so that when they revealed the crowd, when the show started, that was the big reveal of the night, that the universe is back, and they didn't want to spoil that. And everything was backstage on the kickoff shows or with the backdrop when Booker and JBL and John's buddy Rosenthal were BSing about the show. But the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, I believe you got this one correct. I think you picked the dogs, right?
Yeah. It seemed like this team had that team's number, that team had the other team's number, and all the while the Dirty Dogs were trying everything they could to say like, let them keep fighting each other. No one really deserves a shot at us. But when it all finally came together and all four teams danced, the Dirty Dogs retained. We had first of all, the brawl began backstage at Gorilla position before the match even started. Match started in the middle of a commercial break, so they come back out. Now they're down at the ring. Now they're flying around. Montez Ford, jumped into the ionosphere like he usually does and hit a splash on Cable, but after he bounced up, he got a little too close to the ropes, which allowed Bobby Roode to tag himself in. Ziggler would super kick Ford and kind of knock him out of the ring, and Roode would just simply cover Chad Gable, who was still recovering from the splash, and they would get a win and retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
As everyone notices right now, Ryan Joy went backstage. I can see backstage. I think he's battling some sun right now. So we'll just give Ryan a chance for the sun to set. Now it's shining in Florida, right? Not over the weekend. It was terrible. Now the sun's coming out down in Florida. So Ryan will be back with us later in the show. He's not going anywhere. He doesn't have any segments coming up, so I think he's just going to take a breather and see how gorgeous he looks in that Bella Army hat. John Smith, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. This is for your guy, the greatest battle royaler of all time. How did you like how this one panned out? There you go.
I think it went pretty well. I'm always excited to see a battle royal because, especially the battle royals themselves, you really never know who's going to win. So you get to just watch it like you're a kid again and just be wondering who the heck's going to win. We all had our thoughts, and I think the four guys that we chose to be in the four guys that we all chose as our winners were Corbin, Ali, Ricochet, and Nakamura, and those were four of the last five. But main event Jey Uso was the one who came out on top, and I think he deserves it. He didn't even cross my mind, to be honest with you, when it came to picking this match. But of all those guys, I think he deserved it the most because of what he's done the past year and a half, or half a year. I mean.
Yeah, he's been absolutely great. He did cross my mind. I actually changed my pick last minute. If you go back to last week's episode, you'll see my hands up like this typing. Yeah, change stuff. But I got the final four right. So hey, that was good for me. Got myself on the back on that one for no points. We're going to switch gears now. I think it was a great WWE weekend from Friday all the way through Monday. A lot of fun. But that's not how it started. It started on Wednesday. NXT TakeOver, Stand and Deliver. There were no weather delays there. They actually had a kickoff match both nights. First night was Zoe Stark. She reminds me with her ring attire. I think she needs to have American Gladiator music as her music going down there because she looks like Diamond or Sky or any one of those women that would kick your ass back in the American Gladiator days. So that was a throwback to some. Yeah, exactly. So Zoe Stark, she got the win over Toni Storm after reversing the Storm Zero into a deep small package. She had Toni locked in tight. Nina Strauss, she came in with the Star Spangled Banner. It was Jimi Hendrix style. It was guitar, no vocals. So Nina Strauss, who actually, if you remember her, she actually has a place in wrestling history. She did play Nakamura to the ring 1 year at TakeOver. So she has a relationship with Hunter. Hunter likes his female singers, as we saw the next night with Poppy. John Smith, the show kicked off with a match that we were on. Both nights did, but this one, everyone Pete Dunne, yay, Kushida, like, oh my God.
Yeah, the match with the least buildup, but it was almost like it was the one we anticipated the most because we knew what they could get done in the ring together, and they didn't disappoint. I mean, a lot of people think that Kushida's been, getting buried lately, but I don't look at it that way because everybody that's beating him is high quality, and Pete Dunne is no different. And Pete Dunne, is probably on his way to challenging for a title soon, or maybe not soon, but down the line, he's main event on NXT from this point forward. The match itself, Kushida's got his hands all wrapped up for the next 2 weeks, I'm sure, because all of his digits were spread in all different directions. And, Pete Dunne did what we thought he was going to do, and he took him out. But it could have went either way, and I loved the match.
Yeah, it was absolutely great. It's Pete Dunne. We got robbed of him doing that to Riddle's feet. I'm so upset that the pandemic took that away from us.
Yeah.
The second match, again, the North American title is a title too big for just one night. We had, similar to what the women did with Tag Team Turmoil, we had an eliminator gauntlet. So it was kind of like Royal Rumble style. And what did somebody compare to John Smith? Just say it was the Elimination Chamber, but without the chamber.
Yep.
So that's probably the best way to describe that. So Swerve and Leon started, then in came Bronson Reed, and then came Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis. The order they came out, that was already laid out there. Swerve and Ruff, they started it early too. Swerve was a jerk, as always, and he jumped Ruff on his way down the aisle. So that's how this whole thing kicked off. It was absolutely great. Long story short, Lumis was out early. That kind of shocked everybody. Then Bronson Reed, he got rid of LA Knight. Swerve got rid of Grimes. And then Bronson Reed with a tsunami slash on Swerve for the win. So Bronson Reed moves out to night 2. There was a loss for everybody because we had Dexter Lumis pegged. But what's coming out of this for tonight, Leon Ruff and Isaiah Swerve Scott, they're going to go at it. They're going to continue the war. They're calling this a grudge match. I believe that is the perfect thing to call this. These two hate each other. So, John Smith, who do you got on this one for tonight as NXT re-debuts They debuted they were on a Super Tuesday a couple months ago when Adam Cole won the title. But yeah, they're going back to Tuesday nights. They're going to call that home for now. They own tonight.
Yeah, this is pretty tough. I think Ruff will probably get his revenge for what Swerve did to him at the pay-per-view, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way.
Gary, what do you got on this one? Isaiah Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff. They're fighting tonight.
Swerve Scott.
Yeah, there we go. John DeConnie. I think Swerve's owned him the past couple times too. Has Leon beat him yet?
Yeah, I don't know how many of their interactions have actually ended with a pinfall, other than the one there at the Gauntlet. But it seems like Swerve has just been jumping Ruff and interfering every chance he gets. So give me Ruff here to get a little bit of a buyback.
Yeah, I'll go with Leon Ruff. Swerve's on the bigger and better things. The things just whatever. I think everybody who's just has to fight Leon Ruff. You just let Ruff beat you, but then you're gonna go on the bigger and better things. Maybe I guess I don't know. Gary, the last two times the NXT UK Championship was defended at a takeover, both champions lost. Those were the two title changes in the belt's history, and that streak came to an end.
Yes, it did. And if anybody has never seen a big-time Walter match, this is what a big-time Walter match looks like. And this was arguably the best WWE match of the entire week. Absolutely brilliant. Told some great stories in it, as we've said before, coming across in the NXT UK stuff. He does some good stories, with the story being that Walter went for the chop on the outside and Ciampa moved.
Yep.
And Walter chopped the top of the desk in half. Now, you could see it was gimmicked, but still, it was a good-looking shot. And he sold that hand for the rest of the match. He couldn't do some of his moves. And what I liked, again, was you had Ciampa trying to take Walter down with a lot of clotheslines and lariats during the match, trying to get him down, and then eventually did. But when Walter came back and got him with one, he nearly took his head off. He nearly killed him with a lariat for the near fall. And as I say, we got through to the end where it was a good match, a lot of big moves, a lot of really laying it in hard on each other. But when it came to the end, you had Walter, who eventually pinned him, ironically, with a big chop that he hit. The one chop that he hit with his bad hand eventually wore him down, had hit the suplex, and just chopped him to death with one big chop and pinned him. But an absolutely super match, and Walter retained, and then also obviously led on to the match that we'll talk about in a few minutes' time. And NXT UK, but honestly, it was great to see Walter across, and as you say, it's great to finally see somebody who can retain the title in a big match. Yeah,
Walter had to hop right on a plane, get right back overseas. That was an absolutely incredible match. That was just an exclamation point. That last slap right on the chest. Oh, Jesus. John DeConnie, we were guaranteed new tag team championships, unfortunately, due to the injury to Danny Burch. In your opinion, in this triple threat match, if Oney Lorcan fought it alone, would he have won?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm
talking about. A guy who took out Cross and Balor all on his own. Why wouldn't he have taken out these six jabronis? You had MSK, you had the Grizzled Young Veterans and Legado del Fantasma. You had GYV go after Wesley's hand again. So that was a theme early on in the match. It even led to Gibson locking in a submission where he had Lee's hand behind his back and he was kind of squeezing on that hand. And luckily Nash Carter was able to slide in with Drake on his back, but he was able to stop Lee from tapping out because it looked like that's where it was going, and GYV were going to get the victory here. But they broke up that submission with Mendoza coming in with a drop kick, and they danced outside a little bit, and unfortunately for the Legados, they got separated on either side outside of the ring. Who was it? Mendoza, I think, got a doomsday device from GYV on one side, and Wild got taken out by a double team maneuver by MSK on the other side. So now it was down to MSK and GYV. And Nash hit a double cutter on both members of GYV And then they went for that spine buster, blockbuster, double team maneuver. If they're not going to name it, I'm going to name it. They hit the spinal block, we'll call it, on Gibson, and Lee makes the cover for the 15-minute victory. They love pharmaceuticals, right? Spinal block. Name it, damn it.
Yeah, we're going to get right back into MSK in a matter of minutes because they got a tag title match tonight, and we'll explain why in a second. But in the main event of night one, just like WrestleMania night one, in an historic women's match where one era ended and we crowned a brand new champion as Raquel Gonzalez. Hart got victory over Io Shirai. She ended Shirai's however many long day reign it was. Shirai had many title defenses at TakeOver, beating absolutely everybody. Shirai stole the show. I guess that Deadly Games tournament, I guess they broke out the Deadly Games tournament skull from 1998. Shirai decided that she wanted to jump off that onto Raquel. There were many camera angles to that. She likes jumping off stuff just as much as Shane McMahon does. But it was that one-arm powerbomb, that one-arm choke slam powerbomb that Raquel does. It only took one of them, and she had put the Rhea down. And here we go. Here's a picture of the new champ. She is going to be addressing the NXT universe tonight. I think she looks happy in that picture. Normally, she looks pissed off and angry. She finally has a smile on her face. So, congratulations to Raquel Gonzalez, our new NXT Women's Champion. In the pre-show of night 2, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, they defeated Breezango. Not sure if they labeled this a number 1 contenders match or not. Killian Dane got the win by powerbombing Drake Maverick on top of Fandango for the win. I guess that's the way those two guys know how to do it. But they are going to be challenging MSK for the NXT Tag Team Championships tonight. Now, Gary, these two are in your jurisdiction. I'm talking about Drake and Killian. These are your guys here from overseas. How do you think they're going to do tonight?
I mean, I think they'll do well. I do like them as a tag team, and obviously Big Killian Dane is literally from my hometown in Belfast here, and it's I'm a massive, massive fan of his. It wouldn't surprise me to see him. I know that was hinted at over the last lot of months. It wouldn't surprise me to see him turn on Spud on Jake Maverick at some point and go heel on him. Whether it's tonight, I don't know, because I think what they will want the focus to still be on MSK. I think who obviously will retain the belts, but they're a good big man, little man tag team. It has to be said, from the annoying Jake Maverick and the ultra serious Killian Dane. So it will be a good match. It'll be a good match.
John Acani, who do you got?
Give me MSK retaining here. I think it's too soon to flip flop again. We don't want to see them play ping pong with these titles.
John Smith.
Can I pick the Grizzled Young Veterans to win this one? So I can be wrong again? No, I'll go with MSK. They're not losing.
MSK they just got Grizzled Young Veterans number. They're making me put my shoes right back on. I don't like this. And then the main card started, and we were going to open the contest. They mentioned that this was going to start the show. John Smith's clapping like he actually won points on this match, but as the only person who picked Santos Escobar out of everybody.
Gary left.
John Smith, your guy got it done. You have the free range. Gary is on screen with you. Have at it.
Hey, I'm not gonna rub it in. I did that enough on Facebook and whatnot, and over private messaging or whatever. But this match, I guess it wasn't all we thought it was going to be, because Jordan Devlin just got his ass kicked the whole time. If you look back at this match, he doesn't really get much offense in. He gets in, a couple moves here and there. He gets, he got one springboard moonsault off the outside rope, to Santos by the table. He was able to pull off a moonsault off the top of the ladder, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But side note, why are you climbing to the top of a ladder that's not underneath the belts? That happens in every match. It's not just him. It's not just this match. But why does that always happen? I don't get it. But anyway, He hit a Spanish fly to Escobar off of 2 side-by-side ladders. But other than that, he just got his ass kicked. And it was before Legado came out and interfered. Once he pulled off that moonsault, Legado came out and made sure that he didn't win the titles. But I was expecting a little more offense from Devlin, but at least we know that he can get his butt kicked all over the ring, which is cool. Good. Congrats to Santos. He's always been the undisputed cruiserweight champion, but now he gets to be called that. And I think I was a little more giddy than even Santos Jr. was up on the entrance ramp afterwards.
So going into tonight, like I said, there is no argument anymore. Santos Escobar is the cruiserweight champion, and he is throwing out a challenge right away. Open challenge. If you are under 205, have at him. John Smith. So now I'm thinking, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You picked Jordan Devlin for the sake that you want Santos to go on to bigger and better things.
Yes.
Is this when are we getting some kind of surprise shock entrant here? I don't know who it would be. Like I said, Kushida was always my pick. He was my pick way back when the High Joe of Phantasma won the title. So, is the Kushida get him back on the win? We can do here. We can get the belt off Santos. Nice now. Nobody's gonna remember it. No one's gonna. We remember the ladder match, and he won. Jordan said it on Thursday on NXT on Prelude. He was going back overseas. He's not sticking around. So,
I think it's going to be like Tyler Rust or something like that. I don't think he's losing the belts. I think he's going to keep those belts for a very long time now that he's unified them.
All right. Gary, anything you want to chime in about the match, and then maybe your pick for Santos here?
No, again, I would agree with John. It was one of those. It was my heart said yes, let's go with Jordan Devlin, but my head whole way along was going, no, they will stick with Santos. I don't know who it would be. It will be interesting. As John said, somebody like Tyler Rust actually is probably not a bad call. Because I was trying to think if there was somebody else who had been even on the main roster who hadn't been used recently who could come up to answer the challenge. But Kushida, again, as you said, would be somebody who I thought would have done it. But I think the fact that obviously he lost during the week, it'll not be him yet. So we'll see. Whoever it is, I don't think, as John was saying, I don't think he'd be losing it anytime soon. So.
John DeConnie, it's an open challenge. I know Karrion Kross is not under 205, but he hates Escobar.
Yeah, that certainly would be entertaining if he even tried to come down and answer it. But if John's not right, John probably is right. If it's somebody else, it'll be someone they just pluck off 205 Live and bring them in for a day, Tony Nese or someone like that. Just someone for Santos to beat handedly, because I don't see him dropping this belt either.
It's possible.
Okay, I couldn't twist your arm, so I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna go with Kushida, and I'm going with the title change. This is their new home. This is their first night as a Tuesday night show. All the AEW fans that were in this made-up war that I'm pretty sure NXT won. They got the last ladder. I'm pretty sure Takeover won the viewers that night. So Takeover won the war. NXT won the war. But now you're going to have all eyes on NXT and all these AEW heads. Like, they're New Japan guys. They're Travis Severance, this is not a shot, but he's like your stereotypical AEW New Japan guy. He's going to want to see Kushida, and he's going to want to see Kushida shine and beat Santos Escobar. So I'm going to call a title change on this one. I think I'm hoping it's Kushida. So I'm going to go with that. The second match, going back to Takeover. I have their names down. They don't have a team name yet, John DeConnie, but I'm calling them Shotber Moonheart. They had to defend the NXT Tag Team Championships. Before you get into the match, I'm not sure if you caught this, but Ember did a shout out to the Road Dogs. She did the shimmy and then the shake. The Road Dogs, he's been under the weather, I guess, so to speak. His health hasn't been too great, and Ember gave him a shout out, and then she did the suck it too. She's like, "Hey."
Yeah, well deserved. He's been a backstage agent. I don't know. I thought he was up working with the folks on the main roster, but I'm sure she's crossed paths with him since he's probably been down there helping out his buddy Hunter as well. So shout out to the Road Dog. We love him. We're glad he made it through that ordeal and he's back home recuperating. Back to what was the team name that you gave them there?
Shot for Moonheart.
Okay, very well. They defeated The Way to retain their NXT Women's Championship. Ember hit a very pretty double eclipse on both members of The Way, and Shotzi followed up with a top buckle, that diving senton. I don't know how she doesn't crack her tailbone every time she lands that one, but landed it on Indy, made the pin cover, 10 minutes, they retain. With an entertaining match, the NXT women always bring it. It didn't exactly steal the show, but there was nothing on this card that didn't pull its weight. So. Champions retain.
Okay, Stephanie McMahon was at ringside. I thought it was Chad Gable's son. It turns out Gable was his first name. Gable Stevenson. All right, there's no N. Gable Stevenson, former NCAA national champion. I guess it could be Chad Gable's son. I don't know. I guess he's the next guy. He's the next, amateur, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, Chad Gable. He's the next guy that's coming in. And Stephanie was very, very happy. Hey, we got him. So I guess AEW is going to throw out a bronze medal boxer, and NXT will see that and raise them an NCAA national champion. Bronson Reed challenged Johnny Gargano for the North American title. So we had 3 times we saw wrestlers wrestle twice. Natty and Tamina, they won their first match to earn the second fight. Didn't work out so well. Unfortunately, it didn't work out well for Bronson Reed either, as Johnny Gargano got the title defense in. He hit 2 one-final beat DDTs to retain. Vic Joseph said it perfect. Bronson Reed went for a moonsault, not the tsunami splash. Vic Joseph said it perfect when he said it was a go big or go home moment. And Reed went big to try to just make the moment and have everything happen, and Johnny moved out of the way, and it ended up costing the match. So Bronson Reed took the gamble, and it didn't pay off. Johnny Gargano is still your North American champion. So with all of that and that thing, we're going to take a pause. We're going to go to tonight. Oh, my God, 13 comments. What the hell was I doing? Going into tonight, normally I'll say when there's an 8-man tag, you're ripping off AEW, but no. An 8-person intergender tag team match. You have The Way on one side going against Bronson Reed, Dexter Lumis, and the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Shotber Moonheart. Bleep Show written all over this one, John Smith. Can you make heads or tails of this?
I cannot make heads or tails of it. No, I don't even know what's going to end up happening. I guess I'll go with the faces in this one, but I feel like we're going to still come out of it with Lumis versus The Way is what's going on moving forward.
Yeah, Travis clarified it's only ripping off AEW, the 10-person. I got you. Thank you, Travis.
You gotta get it.
Ryan's our senior correspondent, but Ryan, Travis is he's up there in the expert department. I guess we have to figure out. His nickname is the salesman of fun, but I think we got to give him a better title than that. John DeConnie.
Give me The Way here. I think they split their outcomes on Takeover, but this is the first time as a 4-person team that I think they're getting in the ring all together. I think as a unit they could certainly use to check this one in the win column. Give me The Way.
Gary.
It was almost a toss of a coin. I'm gonna go with who are the four in the face side? Bronson Reed's on that side, wasn't he?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Bronson Reed to pin Johnny Gargano, and to kind of push towards a matchup between them down the line. So I'm gonna go that way. So.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go with the way as well. I'm with John DeConnie. I mean, they're not just a 4-person team here; they're family. You know, this is a big moment for them. I hope they all match. Like I think they were kind of matching at Takeover. You know, the black with the dark gray. Not sure what the reference was to it. They weren't exactly stormtroopers, but like I don't know. But I think the way they do a nice little family moment here. So I think that'd be great. In the match before the main event, this kind of switched it on us. Karrion Kross, John Smith, you got your wish. I thought this was 50-50. Then it was like, it's not the main event. I'm like, they're done.
Yeah, I saw this coming a mile away, whether it was the main event or not. I was upset that it wasn't the main event at first. But then once you watch the main event, nobody would want to follow that match anyway. Yeah. So it was better off being I guess maybe they could have done it first, but this was fine by me. You know, Balor tried all he could. He was all over him at the beginning. Kross couldn't get any offense in, but nothing really seemed like it was taking a toll on Kross. It was just like he was annoyed. Like, oh, you got me in an arm lock now. Like, this kind of sucks, but like I'm just getting angrier and angrier and angrier with every single hit. And then eventually he just turned it on. Couple Saitos and two forearms to the back of the head, actually. And we have a new NXT champion, rightfully so.
Yeah, he joins a very, very exclusive list that Finn Balor was on recently. He's like, that was his second title reign. Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura are the other two. Now, Karrion Kross joins now. He's the fourth ever two-time NXT champion. And if he wasn't injured, who's to say that this would not just be the title reign continuing? So he will appear tonight as well. He will be kicking off the first ever. There we go. I'm sorry. The first ever NXT Tuesday, or not the first ever, but the day switch. I don't want to call it the debut because it's that Adam Cole won the NXT Championship over Finn Balor on Super Tuesday, right? Didn't they have 2 Tuesdays in a row? So, but that is now their new home. The show is going to kick off with the new NXT champion. And the match that did main event, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. Kyle O'Reilly, I'll just do the ending here. John DeConnie, you did the clock for Ryan this week. You have the official time of this match.
I had it at 40 minutes, 20 seconds.
Unbelievable. And they killed each other. I mean, that was definitely an unsanctioned match for the ages. Kyle O'Reilly got the win after wrapping his knee in a chain and then coming off the top rope on the back to Cole's head, who was prone over an upside-down chair. So that was a pretty crazy ending. I guess there was some stuff that went on after the show ended where I guess Adam Cole was stretchered off. We left with him getting on the stretcher. I guess I don't know. They're saying stuff happened after the fact, and they are going to show it tonight. So Kyle O'Reilly, probably the biggest singles win of his career, beating Adam Cole on NXT. I know they had a small feud. I know they fought at Wrestle Kingdom a couple years ago for the Ring of Honor Championship. John Smith, you and I actually watched that together. So John Smith, that'll do it. That'll be it for NXT. That'll be it for Takeover. We'll do the same thing. We'll just go around real quick. John Smith, your thoughts on Takeover as our senior NXT correspondent?
I hate to be negative because I love NXT so much, but I just don't see what they see in Bronson Reed, man. They just keep shoving them down our throats like the way that people claim they shoved Roman Reigns down our throats. But like I don't know what it is. Is he related to somebody I don't know about? Like, what's the deal with him?
What's the deal with Bronson? That was very Seinfeld right there. John DeConnie.
I absolutely loved both nights of this event. This was, quite frankly, more entertaining for me than WrestleMania. You know, it didn't have quite the spectacle of Mania, but my God, there was not a match on this card. Even ones that it's not 100% sour grapes. There's some of that in there for sure. But even the matches that I got wrong on these two cards, I still was thoroughly entertained. I just loved these 2 nights of wrestling. It was fantastic.
Gary, how do you like the stateside version of the NXT this past couple days?
Well, they're great, and as John was saying, I mean, they're 2 great nights, and you never have a bad takeover. You really don't. I mean, Hunter does know who to put on to get good matches. It will be interesting for me to see what Finn Balor does now. I think he's at a bit of a crossroads, sort of career-wise within NXT, exactly where he goes now. So hopefully there'll be something interesting for him. Hopefully he just doesn't start to kind of put people over to get them towards the top of the card. But to say 2 great nights that if anybody hasn't seen this, should go out of their way to watch.
Yeah, and then we are going to now announce, like I said, the ProWrestlingPick'em.com, the NXT specific standings, and you can't get any closer than this. This isn't a surprise to us, but we had a 3-way tie at the top after Stand and Deliver. And the tiebreaker is the win column. So there you go. John Smith, say what you want about the point system. You win the matches, and you are not only our senior NXT correspondent, you are the Essential Wrestling Podcast, Pro Wrestling Pick'em, NXT champion.
Hey, the way I see it, I won by record, and then it goes to points if you're tied on record, in my opinion.
Yeah, there you go. That's however you want to look at it. And we'll get to the UK right now because John Smith, you actually nailed Prelude also. So I didn't do that. John DeConti didn't do that. So if we added the UK into this, you would have had the overall points lead. But as I was alluding to before, three groups of people had to fight twice in the same weekend. Natalya and Tamina, they couldn't get it done. Bronson Reed, they couldn't get it done. But the guy, Gary, who had an absolute barn burner with Tommaso Ciampa, get on a private jet, fly over the pond, the Atlantic Ocean, and then have a match with, of all people, Rampage Brown. That guy got it done.
Yeah, Walter really is the man. As I've said before when we've talked about NXT UK, I mean, this was another one of these 2 big boys having a big boy fight. I mean, it really was, again, laying it in, kicking out lots of big moves out of clotheslines and power bombs and sleepers and doctor bombs and top rope power slams. You had all sorts of stuff. I mean, they were really kicking out of everything. But eventually, and I was convinced the whole way along, I thought, as long as Walter retained against Ciampa, when it came to this match, that we would see Rampage Brown beat him and become like the new big face of the company and go, Walter's been champion for 2 years. Here we go. But no, Walter hits his German suplex, a powerbomb, and then his big splash off the top and pinned him. And again, they did ask the question. It was at the very end of the stuff. I think it was Nigel McGuinness in commentary who said, like, who next? Like, who can come on and take Walter on now? And it really is one of these, okay, what are they going to do? But it was a really good match. It was a great showing from both. You know you're going to get a good showing from Walter. I think anybody who saw it will have new respect for Rampage if you've never seen him before. But to say where we go as a company now, I'm interested to see, because I was entirely convinced that they would put it on Rampage and go with him. But we're not. We're staying with Walter, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but it'll be interesting to see exactly where they take things. So I'm really looking forward to this Thursday night to see where we start to go.
Yeah, if it was not Rampage and it was not last Thursday, then who and when? Like, it's Santos. You're gonna fly Santos Escobar over, John Smith?
No, it's not gonna be Santos Escobar. Stop. No, it's Walter's going to hit 1,000 days before he loses this thing, and he's going to lose it to Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn just opened up, right? And he's been over there. They were supposed to fight at Takeover last year, right? And then the pandemic
actually, to be fair, the next take now, I don't think it'll happen in June, but the next, when they want to have the UK Takeover, is meant to be in Dublin.
Yeah. There was supposed to be NXT UK Takeover. Yeah. And it was supposed to be Balor. Balor was on his way overseas and the pandemic hit. He never even got on the plane. So, John Smith, see, the NXT is strong in you.
You're not as stupid as you look, John. That's, you know what I mean? That's like...
Are we going to have ourselves a Braun Strowman, Shane McMahon cage match between the two of us?
Miko Satomura and Millie McKenzie. Millie's going by, is it Amelia? She's going by another name now, right, Gary? I missed that.
Yeah.
They defeated Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn. Kaylee Ray could have broken up the pin, and Miko kind of was blocking it, and Kaylee's like, forget this, whatever, I'm out. Screw you guys, I'm going home. I'm not thinking whatever. So maybe Isla and KLR might be getting into it in a little bit going forward. But John Smith, I'm going to throw this to you. I know we didn't talk about this, throw this to you, but give us your opinion right now. You saw, I don't know if this was your first British rounds match that you saw, but Noam Dar and Tyler Bate, 6 rounds of amazingness and amazing heads of hair.
Yeah, I was a big fan of it. Tyler Bate got the first fall, and he won it overall the way I thought he would. Noam Dar is like your typical sneaky little bleep heel, so I don't like he's not at the point where he should be winning this type of match yet, which is why I didn't pick him. And I think the match went according to plan. I really enjoy the British rounds, and I was calling for them to have like an exhibition of it at Takeover when I did my fake card or whatever, and I'd still love to see it over here at some point.
Noam Dar, he's got the Supernova sessions on Thursday. For Gary, it's night. For us, it's in the afternoon. He's going to have Gallus. Not sure Noam's going to want to screw with those 3. They're probably not in good moods since losing the tag titles. And I believe Joe took an L to Rampage Brown the last time we saw him. So they're looking to rebound and go forward. And then Gary, the big match that was signed for this Thursday, you got Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams. This is finally happening.
Yeah, say we've been seeing it coming for a long time. I was actually surprised they did it just so quickly. That it was this week, the match. But to me, from them both, Kenny Williams is the one that they'll put a little bit more behind it to see a bit more in. So I could see Kenny Williams doing something to cheat to get his way over. Hope I want him to stay. Maybe it's Jenny. Yeah, but no, I could see Kenny Williams will take it. He'll do again something dastardly, something sneaky to win the match, and he'll go over in it. So
yeah, this is everything. Kenny started to cheat. Amir doesn't like it, so Amir's going to play it straight. Kenny's going to cheat. I'll go with Kenny Williams on that one. John, do you want to go chime in on this match? You've been following this feud?
I have not.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, I haven't either.
Okay, well, Gary, that will do it for you and your expertise. I know it's getting late over there, but we know you were a big part of WrestleMania. You're a big part of WWE. As we've talked WWE before, we just don't have you on air doing it, and that's not right. You're not a one-trick pony. But you are our NXT UK specialist, our senior correspondent, and we appreciate you staying up. Thank you very much, and we will definitely see you next week, and we'll talk some more NXT UK.
Yeah, it was great to catch up with you all. No doubt I'll be talking to you all during the week, so I shall see you later.
All right, we're going to take Gary off, and we're going to put Ryan Joy back on the top of the screen. I think the sun's still in your eyes. You want to stay on for this one?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So the WrestleMania pre-show, which was Impact's Hardcore Justice, presented to us by Tommy Dreamer. The main event was supposed to be Team Dreamer, and kind of shocking to us, and Saban made a point of it. And in one of his ramblings in Swingers Palace, is I can't believe we got our asses kicked too. I can't believe Dreamer didn't pick us. So he didn't pick Storm. I guess Chris Harris probably wouldn't be wrestling, or Chris Sabin. He went with Eddie Edwards. He went with Rich Swann, and he went with Willie Mack to fight Violent by Design. But Violent by Design beat him to the punch. They took out Dreamer before the match even started. So Trey Miguel came out, and he was the fourth member of that team. And shout out to Eric Young. If our information is correct, he's been wrestling not only up to this match, but in this match with a torn ACL. So shout out to Eric Young. Again, he's always up here in my book. He just went about 5 notches higher than that, and they got the job done. Eric Young hit the pile driver on Willie Mack for the win. Violent by Design, they were the unit, they were the team. You figured maybe they give Rich Swann the win to get some momentum going forward. That was my philosophy. But VBD, damn it. With VBD just, my cat just blew up the litter box right next to me. Got the win. I guess that's what I get for not feeding him on time. He went on early. I didn't get a chance to feed him, and now he just blew me out. So, and John DeConnie, the unfortunate thing is, the only win that Jersey had this weekend, Liv didn't get it done. Ace will talk about it. He didn't get it done. Deanna got it done, but unfortunately, due to the stipulation of Ultimate Jeopardy that Tommy Dreamer discussed with Jazz, unfortunately, this is goodbye, and we're saying goodbye on Thursday night.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we had Deanna defending against Jazz, and Jazz put up a heck of a struggle. It was almost a 13-minute match, but in the end, Deanna hit La Cosa Nostra for the win, and Jazz had to come to grips with the fact that this was it. This is the end of the road, and she just kind of stayed in the ring. Deanna, with her championship, kind of rolled out and took off. Leaving Jazz in the ring, all with her feelings, and her buddy Jordan Grace came down with her, gave her a big old hug, helped her out of the ring, and went arm in arm with her up the ramp. But we say goodbye to a female wrestling legend this week.
Yeah, I just hope she's just still in good graces or has some kind of contact with Hunter or Vince or somebody, because she needs to go into the hall at some point. Jazz was absolutely phenomenal. It was great to see her when she's on. I guess they're having a going away party for her on Thursday. They're saying they're farewell to Jazz. So this truly is it. I know Ryan saw her the next day or whatever. Ryan saw her live in a parking lot. Thank you, Jazz. As I said, she's in the WrestleMania top 30 from WrestleMania 19. So thank you, Jazz. But that's one half of the equation at Rebellion. The other half of the Knockouts Championship, John DeConnie, was determined in a hardcore championship scramble, where I know myself and I believe Ryan had the theory that, you know what? Susie's going to get some sense knocked into her, and we're going to get to Ryan, but it didn't even get to the match for it to happen.
No, yeah, we all looked at this like Rosemary was giddy over the idea of being able to use weapons. She might bring a 9mm to the ring. Jordan and Havoc seem to be very excited about the idea of being able to use weapons. And meanwhile, the one person we didn't see coming, little old Tenille, she wound up squeaking this one out, but that wasn't necessarily even the story of the match. The last person to get introduced was Susan, and the camera took a nice wide shot, and someone came out in a pantsuit, and a lot of smoke started billowing around, and then all of a sudden the mood changed and the lighting went red, and Su Yung came out, and they were both up there on the ramp at the same time. So, for whatever super magic powers it took to pull that one off. Sue comes down to the ring, and, everyone kind of, everyone's mood changed. But when it came right down to it, Nevaeh even got involved in this match. She wasn't in it. Havoc was looking like she was rolling, but Nevaeh came down and gave her a little Fuji action, little salt or powder to the face. This allowed Jordan to hit a Vader bomb on Havoc, and it looked like Jordan was going to take the match, but Caleb with a K pulled Jordan right out of the ring. Tenille snuck in for the cover, and now we have Tenille headed towards Deanna for the Knockouts title.
That's a match. John Smith got a little heel-on-heel action right here, but for Rebellion, I love the match. I love Tennille. Obviously, I'm the biggest Deonna Purrazzo fan there is. Shout out to Tennille, by the way. Staple gun in the butt cheek. That had to have hurt. But John Smith, my question for you, because you are very skeptical. Sorry, of Pro Wrestling Pick'em.com, the point system, and this, that, and the other thing. Would this match have counted? I counted it. Tennille won. Tyler was the only one that picked her. I gave Tyler the point. Should this match have counted?
Because Su Yung replaced Susan?
But they're the same person.
Well, but that's the question, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it should count. It's the same person.
Okay. I thought you were going to fight me on that. I'm sitting there watching. I'm watching with you guys on screen. I'm like, he's going to kill me if Su Yung wins this. But, all right. Good. All right. Thank you. There was a triple threat tag team match that's kicked off the show. It was Ace Austin and a partner of his choosing. No shock there. It was Madman Fulton. TJP and a partner of his choosing. A little bit of a shock. He went back into the well and he got his buddy Follow Bob back in there. Follow's been down on his luck. TJP, come on. Let's go kick some ass together. So TJP back with his old tag team partner. And then here comes Josh Alexander. You're like, oh, man, his partner's gone. Who's he going to? Oh, PD. And then the Canadian national anthem riff on the guitar. That was absolutely great. I think they were using a hockey stick in the match. Petey Williams, welcome back. The originator of the Canadian Destroyer. Josh Alexander and Petey, they got the win. They had a leg lock submission on Fallah Bahh. So Ace wasn't involved. TJP wasn't involved in the decision. Alexander was strong. Those three are going to be competing for the X Division Championship at Rebellion at the end of the month. So more to come with that. Swingers Palace kind of stole the show for me. I don't know about you guys. James Storm Saban, they were in there getting bleep-faced because they weren't asked by Tommy Dreamer to compete on his team. Here comes Triple XL. They want a match. And Storm's like, we can't have a match. I've been drinking, but you can sit down and we can have a drinking match or whatever. So they just start getting bleep-faced. Then here comes Matt Cardona. Swinger gets some words with him. Tommy Dreamer out of nowhere, just like Wrestle House, calls for a match, and then I don't know, Jonathan, you can keep going. So I'm talking too much right now. He got the win with radio silence, but that wasn't the story of the match.
No, once Tommy called for match time, he created this match. All the matches here had a little nickname and a little stipulation. This one was the Crate American Bash. Each ring post had a crate on it filled with some kind of plunder. And whoever opened it got to use it, so be it. So the match starts. Swinger gets to open the first crate. I still don't get this one other than the fact that it's hilarious. It's randomness. The first thing he pulls out is an 8x10 of Scott Hall.
Impact's going to impact. Like, that's really what it is.
Exactly. Moving right along, Swinger also gets to the second crate. He's digging around in the packing peanuts, and some bitch, he gets a mousetrap snapped on his own hand. So that one's not going to help him win the match either. Cardona gets to the third crate. He opens it up. He looks in it, smiles, kind of shakes his head, says, nah, I'm not going to use this right now. Closes it. The match continues. Swinger gets to the fourth crate. He finds brass knucks. He's so happy he finally has something he can really use. But he turns around, runs right into radio silence for the win. And Cardona leaves with the victory. And he held on to that crate for use for later in the evening. That mystery crate.
That's what cost. That was a lot of fun. Good to see Swinger on an Impact Plus pay-per-view. It was a randomness. Swingers Palace stole. They went back to Saban and Storm. They were playing beer pong with Triple XL by the end of the night, and it just turned into a drunken brawl, which was absolutely hysterical. Then Storm dropped the ball like right up close to win the match in the beer pong. But Then Jake something and Brian Myers, they had the blindfold match, hardcore blindfold match. They did pretty good for that. It was a little bit better than Jake and Martel, if I remember correctly. Myers tried to cheat. The referee got accidentally knocked out. Myers pulled up the mask, hit a move on Jake something, but here comes Cardona with that third box where he handed it to Jake something, hit Myers over the head with it, got the win. You open up the crate, and it was all of the action figures that Matt Cardona and Brian Myers love so much. Cardona, a little kicking the you-know-whats to get that feud rolling with fire now. They're going to get at it at Rebellion as well. This has been in the making for quite some time. So we will finally get to see Myers and Cardona. And then 3 other matches that happened. Mahali Balashira, he defeated Hernandez. After Rohit came down and hit Hernandez in the head with a chair. You don't see that too often. A lot of people stay away from the head with a chair, but Rohit blasted him with it. And he's trying to make amends. So he extended the olive branch to Shira, and they are back together for the time being. Luke Gallows, there's push-ups. Doc Gallows, he defeated Black Taurus in a hard-hitting match. I got that one wrong. I figured, Taurus is unbeatable in my head. And I forgot to write that one down as well, so I don't even know how that match ended. John DeConnie, anything?
Gallows double hand sit-out choke slam.
Gotcha. And then Sami Callihan had an open challenge to prove to Trey Miguel, what passion is. He wants to teach Trey Miguel some passion. I don't know if that means he wants to make out with him. I'm still trying to figure this one out from Sami Callihan. But Sam Beal came down, answered the challenge, only to get packaged pile-driven for his efforts. So here, the only thing we have on store tonight, other than the farewell to Jazz, is we actually have a press conference with the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega and the undisputed TNA Impact Champion Rich Swann. They're going to have a press conference tonight, so I'm sure out of nowhere Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson will be showing up asking questions. So that will bring us to the Impact section of ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Our Impact Champion. I went on a little bit of a run at the beginning of January. I picked 31 matches straight, and a hefty majority of them were Impact Wrestling. I nailed back-to-back pay-per-views between Genesis and Hard to Kill, so that kind of gave me a lead that was pretty much uncatchable. So I will take the Impact Championship. Ryan Joy, John DeConnie, they finished in a second-place tie. Ryan had one more win over John DeConnie, our Impact Senior Correspondent. John Smith, a little bit slow out of the gate. Did well at Hardcore Justice, 4-2 with 8 points. Tyler missed a whole bunch of shows. He will come in as Joe Average, batting 500.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I started 1-10 my first show.
Yeah, you started really slow out of the gates. So shout out to you for learning the ways of the Impact and realizing the pleasant ridiculousness that is Impact Wrestling.
Hey, I've been saying I enjoy it more than I enjoy AEW right now.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's great. Ryan, before we get into said AEW, we have some time.
Okay.
We came on a little bit early. The show's going a little bit quicker than we expected, so we have a little bit of time we can play around here with you. I know you went to a ton of indie shows. I know you went to the Ring of Honor has their 500 show. If you want to take the stage here for a little bit,
Sure.
5 minutes, whatever you need to take, you have the stage right now. Whatever you want to bring up.
Yeah, so Ring of Honor has their 500th episode of Ring of Honor TV this weekend. They have a 3-hour block. It's typically a 1-hour show, but this weekend they have a 3-hour block. They're going to use the first hour to basically replay 10 of the best matches from ROH TV history. So get a little something there. But then you get a fan-voted match, Jay Lethal versus Jonathan Gresham for the ROH Pure Championship. That match should be great. It should be incredible. They're actual stablemates, so that should be a lot of fun, and it's under Pure rules. Al, the final match, the main event, they announced earlier today. We didn't have it when we talked on the Daily Wrestling News Show. Any guesses at what this could be? Because when I saw it, I said, oh, that's the only match that it could be.
It's got to be Rouge, right? He's the champ.
It's Mark Briscoe versus Jay Briscoe.
That's yeah.
The only
probably at episode 1.
The Briscoes been there since the very beginning. Makes sense that they would be main eventing the 500th episode.
Yeah, they would probably at episode 1.
Yes.
They were probably at 400 of the 500 shows.
Yes. Yep. So that's Ring of Honor. That's the news that's coming their way about Ring of Honor. As Al mentioned, I went to like a dozen independent shows over WrestleMania weekend. I had the package for Game Changer Wrestling, GCW, their collective. And one of the shows in particular on there was called Bloodsport. It's Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. There's been 6 of these themed shows. There's no ropes on the ring, and there's a whole bunch of extra little rules. But basically, you don't get pinned either. It's like a shoot fight. And the main event was Jon Moxley versus Josh Barnett. This was an incredible show. It's totally different, and that's what I liked. It's kind of like if you picture the theme and the feel that you have with the NXT fight pit. It's kind of that, except there's no cage and there's no ropes or anything. So you just got strikes and everything, and so it's totally unique. It's a lot of fun. Rocky Romero fought Chavo Guerrero. Leo Rush was on the show. So just a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to go back and watch the first 5 shows just to kind of catch myself up on everything. But that's going to be my new thing 2 or 3 times a year to watch the Bloodsport events. So recommending it.
Good deal. Speaking of Leo Rush, did anybody see, I guess there's a rap remix or something with him and Enzo Amore?
I didn't.
Anybody else see that?
No. But I did see Leo wrestle about 5 times this weekend.
You saw Enzo 5 times?
And one of the times was like a kind of like a Fiend character where he has sort of an alter ego. And so he has like that kind of dark side that comes out. So Leo's incredible.
Brian, I don't know if you watched our WrestleMania special. Did you see I compared Roman Reigns to Enzo Amore? That was a little outlandish, but I did it.
How did you do that? Okay. I'll go back and watch that.
But they listened to me this time. That's the thing, is they listened to me this time. And kudos, Roman Reigns. All right, so we're going to go into the one company who really didn't have the balls to throw up any type of pay-per-view or special event this week. There was no AEW scoring events or ProWrestlingThinking.com. But they put on a hell of a show. I got to watch it today. So specifically the Chris Jericho. We'll get to him in a second. But they John the Comedy, a 6-man tag main event. That was interesting, and it looks like the club is getting back together, kind of, huh? Like,
yeah, and it it wasn't one that you could see it coming. I don't think right until it happened, because these guys tore each other up for 15 minutes. They were all over the place, spot fest until it came right down to it, and Matt Jackson could not bring himself to finish off his old buddy Kenny Omega. They had him there. He was theirs for the taking, and Moxley lost his patience very quickly, tagged himself in, delivered 2 paradigm chips, and kind of sat there barking at Matt and Nick like, "No, what are you doing?" So they invited him to a super kick party. They kicked his head off. Eddie Kingston came out for the save, but the Good Brothers stopped him. He got a magic killer out on the stage, which, the impact alone, I'm sure, was not great for his broken ankle. Then back in the ring, Moxley got a magic killer. They dragged Omega's limp body onto Moxley for the win. And afterwards, the Bucks double super kicked Moxley again. And the Bullet Club, they didn't even throw up too sweet. It was one big family group hug.
Yeah, so Don Callis getting a wish there. It'd be interesting to see how long this lasts. Whether Matt and Nick, stay into this, because they just seem very, very reluctant. We'll stick with the Bucks in 1 second, because they're going to have an AEW Tag Team Championship match tomorrow night on Dynamite. They're going to be going up against the Death Triangle members, Pac and Ray Phoenix, who won this honor in the Casino ladder match, or was it Casino Battle Royal, or was it a ladder match? It was a Battle Royal, right?
Battle Royal.
Yeah. I know I say Battle Royal a lot, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't something else. But here comes the best friends interrupting Death Triangle's promo. And they just, Cassidy put up on the screen, we didn't forget, and it was Pac just completely kicking the crap out of Cassidy. Was that Orange Cassidy's first match? I remember his first match being against Pac, and I remember everyone was just like, "Oh my god, this guy is the absolute greatest."
Yep, that was his first match at Revolution 2020.
Yeah, and that was right before the pandemic hit, and they never got their retribution, so to speak, no pun intended. I guess wrong company. But so they're looking to get at the Death Triangle, but the Death Triangle has some business to attend to first, as they're challenging the Bucks, rightly so. They earned it for the AEW Tag Team Championship. So Ryan Joy is our senior AEW correspondent. Not to mention, you were at Dynamite. You said, "Screw you, Takeover. I'm going to Dynamite." Who do you got in this one?
I'll take the Bucks. I think that they're going to hold on to those titles for a little while longer and ultimately lose them at a pay-per-view. It won't be on a non-themed episode of Dynamite.
John DeConnie, it's interesting. These two teams, after this match is over, it seems like they're going in two different directions, with the best friends going at the Triangle, and then I guess the Bucks are going to have there's maybe something with Impact, maybe, because I don't know, it just seems like or maybe whatever this leads up to them and the Good Brothers at some point. Not at Rebellion, because the Good Brothers already have their match there. But this could go a lot of ways. I don't think this is as cut and dry as the Bucks. Just this is a walk in the park for the Bucks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could absolutely see Pac and Phoenix taking the titles and then starting a run with them. But I think by virtue of the fact that we just had that Bullet Club reunion last week, maybe Pac and Phoenix put up a real good showing here, and maybe the Good Brothers, Kenny, someone from the Bullet Club helps the Bucks pull this one out, save their skin, be it whether it goes over not clean, but whether it goes to a pinfall or a disqualification. Someone helps the Bucks hold on to these titles. I would get the feeling.
All right, John Smith.
This is the perfect team to take the belts off of the Bucks. It'll be the perfect booking, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah, this is. If it's not these two, maybe they have the history with Phoenix and Pentagon. Not only so much with Pac way back when AEW first started, but yeah, if it's not these guys, then maybe I don't know. The Revival get another chance or whatever. I don't know what they're going to do this, but yeah, I got the Bucks retaining. I think they're going to have something going with the Good Brothers going forward. Maybe Good Brothers could sneak the titles here before they fight Finjuice. Maybe that gets to be title for title 2 at Rebellion. That would be fun. The Inner Circle started the show, not as the first match. That was Hangman Page. He beat somebody in action, Max Caster with the Buckshot Lariat. But it started with the Inner Circle showing up in style. They each had, some kind of, pretty badass vehicle. They were, dressed as badasses, back in black, I guess as they were saying, So they had their in-ring promo. Chris Jericho just absolutely shredded Pinnacle. Absolutely unbelievable. If you guys did not watch that, please go back and do it. Chris Jericho absolutely shined on the microphone, but this time it seemed like it was more than usual. He was I can't repeat what he was saying MJF stands for. My bleep friend doesn't translate to actually what I'm bleeping out here. But yeah, he killed it. Shots at Tunney, shots at FTR. He can't tell them apart. They're axe or smash or axle and slash. And then Pinnacle got their comeuppance at the end. They locked the Inner Circle in their locker room as they jumped Chris Jericho. And then Mike Tyson came to Jericho's aid. So here we go. I guess they don't hate each other after all. Jericho had not very nice things to say about Mike Tyson, back when Tyson first came out in AEW. But then here we go. Maybe I'm speaking too soon on this, Rye, because let me get the ticker down here. It's going to be Chris Jericho against Dax Harwood. Mike Tyson's going to be the special guest referee. Oh, here it goes. AEW ripping off WrestleMania 14. Mike Tyson's going to be the special guest ring enforcer here. Ryan, do you see any kind of chicanery here, or is he just going to be, Chris Jericho is my new best friend now? That's where we're going to be.
I'll play safe and say Chris Jericho is going to win this match. I think if somebody from Pinnacle was going to beat Jericho in a singles match, it wouldn't have been somebody from FTR. The Mike Tyson thing is interesting. I guess there'll obviously be some sort of involvement. There he gets to kick some either people from the Inner Circle or Pinnacle out of the ring, but Jericho ultimately goes over here, I think, for sure.
Okay, well, I would think so too. I don't mean the step on you here, but I do believe when I saw the graphic, I rewatched this morning. I was extremely busy, so I got to this morning. I believe Cash Wheeler and Sammy Guevara are the only two allowed at ringside. The rest of Pinnacle and Inner Circle is banned.
That's right. Yep.
Okay, John DeConnie.
Yeah, give me Jericho going over here. Yeah, Tyson will have some kind of involvement, but I'm sure Sean Spears is going to be very happy with the fact that he's not allowed at ringside because Mike pummeled his ass last week. So give me Jericho going over.
Now, John Smith, sometimes you do stuff for the sake of doing stuff, just so you can say that you did it. Would you take a Mike Tyson punch just to say that? Oh, you know what? I took a punch from Mike Tyson
in the face. No.
Anywhere, I don't know.
I'd take one to my soft gut.
Okay.
But I got Jericho winning this. I don't understand why Mike Tyson's involved in this right now. Why not make us pay for it on a pay-per-view? I'd like to see where they're going with this.
Well, they are going to Blood and Guts on May 5th. Jericho said that in his original promo, so it will be the Inner Circle versus Pinnacle inside Blood and Guts. Now, it will be at Daly's place. When they were supposed to do that last year, Ryan, I know you were supposed to come up to the Prudential Center to watch it. I think, John Smith, you were supposed to go to it too, right? Yeah,
I won tickets on the radio.
Is this just one?
What was your question?
Is this going to be 2 rings, or was this supposed to be 2 rings?
It's supposed to be, War Games.
Okay. Ryan, staying with you. Actually, before we get there, I skipped over. Chris Statlander is now the newest member of the Best Friends. They have an alien now. She's going to be going against Amber Nova, who was supposed to be a friend of the show. Turns out we got Marina Tucker instead, and we are more than happy. Marina's got a match coming up. Did that match happen yet? The news that you broke, right?
Yes, it has happened. She won.
There you go. Marina Tucker, she is an ass kicker. She was at WrestleMania. I saw her on Facebook. She was at WrestleMania enjoying it. I think she's got a very great relationship with WWE to the point where they're letting her take pictures on the freaking entrance ramp. So hopefully good things are coming with a friend of the show, Marina Tucker, going forward. Ryan, the TNT Championship's on the line. Darby sticking true to his word. He was upset that he wasn't defending the TNT Championship because he was involved with Team Taz. Now he's doing it on a weekly basis.
Yeah, last week he beat JD Drake. And JD Drake, he's kind of is an interesting kind of like a Trevor Murdoch type character. And a lot of people are really excited about him. And it's weird because he's not doesn't have like a superstar look. He has kind of like an everyman look. But people are really excited about him. He got a good reaction from the crowd. Darby beat him, which was expected, with a coffin drop. There was all kinds of stuff with Butcher and Blade afterwards attacking Sting and Dark Order and Hardy Family Office, all this stuff going on. But yeah, Darby got a title defense in, so good for him. And he gets another one.
He's going to be right back at it, right? He's going to be right back at it because of that altercation at the end of all that. Matt Hardy's getting a TNT Championship match out of this.
Yeah. You want me to pick the winner?
Sure.
Okay. Darby Allin is going to walk away with the title. I don't think Matt Hardy's going to be taking it from him.
All right, John Smith.
I'm going to go with Matt Hardy on this one. Let's see a swerve.
Swerve's on NXT.
Derp.
John DeConnie.
It would be really funny to see Matt Hardy, really fun to see Matt Hardy take this and, start talking about how he gets a bigger check as the TNT champion now. to make up for those quarter one winnings, but I just don't see them taking it off Darby Allin yet. So give me the champ retaining.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Darby Allin too. Not that I can't see them taking it off of Darby, but I can't see them putting it on Matt Hardy. Does that make sense? Like it's not going to be Matt's never going to be TNT champion.
I would feel like it'd be better if one of Matt's guys got it so that he could do nothing and get the 30% of the earnings. I think that'd be more Matt Hardy's style. Yeah.
Yep. Tay Conti, she stays on fire. I believe she's the number 2 ranked woman in AEW. She defeated the Bunny with the DDT, which I think is an absolutely amazing name for her DDT. That is incredible. Fun match to watch, as all Tay Conti's matches are. Guy in the question here, the Dark Order came out, -1, little Brody Jr. This is great. Does he still have school? Like, am I the only one that's like a concerned parent for this kid right now? Like, doesn't he have school in the morning? To be staying up till freaking 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night in a stadium?
Al, it's Florida. There are no rules in Florida.
Thank you. Okay. There was an answer somewhere. I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out though, buddy. If it's okay. If it's okay with mom, then it's okay with me. That's fine. But as a parent, or a new parent, I've been a step parent for about 7 to 8 months now. I'll be a little concerned that this kid's missing some school for this. Play with your friends after school's over. In the summertime. But I digress. Ryan, one last match up your alley. Kong versus Godzilla match.
Yeah, Jurassic Express versus Bear Bronson and Bear Boulder, and it was all themed after Kong and Godzilla, the movie that was out. I didn't see that branding really going in. I guess it was there. I just missed it. But Jurassic Express, again, it's sort of as expected, got the win here. But I think we're just kind of doing some test marketing with Bear Country because they're getting a lot of airtime, but they just aren't getting any wins on the main show or against any main level talent. So, but it was a fun animal themed match, I guess.
Yeah, Bear Country, you kind of don't want to put him in the in-action category.
Right.
Because I feel like that should have been taken off them once they entered that casino battle royal.
Yes. Yep.
They competed for a tag team. So like they were on a pay-per-view. They were competing, I guess, the best of the best AEW has to offer. And yeah, they're not getting wins yet, but they're still getting more TV time. The Acclaimed were split up for this night. It's like Max Caster had a match, but the other guy didn't. Why am I breaking out his name? The guy from Jersey. His name Bowens, right? Yeah.
Yep. Which, by the way, Max Caster, it was funny you called him in action at the beginning of the show. He's the number 3 ranked male in AEW. And Tay Conti is the
He's a tag team wrestler.
He's got a 7-1 singles record.
And that's why nobody takes them seriously. No, I'm kidding.
Strong words for Cody by QT Marshall. He's not screwing around. The guys he's with aren't screwing around. They want to be taken seriously. They want to prove themselves. They threw. I guess they're calling themselves the Factory. Is that official? Like they're called the Factory.
Yep.
They threw the blue paint. I guess I don't know what the blue paint signifies, but they threw that on the Nightmare Factory branding that was in the gym that they all trained at. And we're gonna see Anthony Ogogo. Wake me up before you go. I guess I don't know. I'm sure that joke has been drilled into his brain his entire life. So I'll just say it once, and then I'm not going to beat the dead horse here. He will be in action next week. First time we will see him in the ring. Sting called out Lance Archer. Actually, Ryan, I got a little worried there for a second because the first time we saw Tony Schiavone, he was interviewing. Who was he interviewing? Oh my God, why am I bricking on this right now? He wasn't interviewing Sting, and I got concerned.
Well, he did eventually got his interview in with Sting, and it was interesting because Jake and Archer came out for the altercation as they do every week, and Sting kind of put it back on them and said, you're right about what you're saying. So why are you out here talking to me? Jake, you're responsible for this guy. Go get him his matches. Put him to work. Get him his wins. So I think it kind of successfully evaded maybe the Jake or the Sting and Lance Archer thing. And maybe we see Lance Archer go get his matches that he needs.
Yeah,
maybe we get
Sting
Sting versus
Death
Jake.
Triangle. Shivani was in the ring with the Death Triangle. So that's what
There
it was.
you go.
I don't know why I was breaking on that.
Yeah.
Shivani was like, let's call it the Death Triangle. I'm like, oh my God, he's allowed to interview somebody other than Sting? Like, I was shocked.
Well, come on, Al. Britt Baker every other week, too.
Yeah, but that's exactly. Okay. Touche. But he's can we look back and see how many weeks in a row he's interviewed Sting, like where the graphic, coming up is Tony Schiavone was there.
Yeah, somebody made a big deal out of him saying it's Sting, and now we get it
every week.
Yeah, let's count how many times.
Will be in action. Sting called out Archer for disappearing. We just said that he yelled at Jake for not pointing him in the right direction. And then the last match we get to pick, Red Velvet's going to get the ass whooping she wants, right? She's got Jade Cargill.
Well, if you pay attention to social media, they've both been coached by the same person, Dustin Rhodes. So
yeah, that's what we're hearing.
So this is a real conflicting situation for him, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it feels very much like Jade Cargill is going to win this and probably win it handedly. But it makes me wonder, like they've invested in Red Velvet as well. So is it going to be a squash, or is it, if they're going to do a squash, they had any one of a million people they could pick out. So I think this will be a more competitive match than we think. I think it'll be maybe a good match. But Jade,
John DeConnie, I agree with Ryan on that. I don't think this is going to be a squash because I believe this was supposed to be Brandy, and I can't imagine Brandy being booked to being squashed by Jade Cargill. Like, the part of Brandy Rhodes right now, due to pregnancy, is being played by Red Velvet. And Red Velvet's an actual wrestler, and she's a good wrestler. Like, this is not a shot at Red or whatever. But yeah, I think this will be good. I don't give her a chance of winning, but I think this is going to be good.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't be terribly surprised if maybe she won with a roll-up or something something that makes, just Jade Cargill lose her mind leading up to the two of them fighting at whether it be Blood and Guts or some bigger show where then Jade can absolutely destroy her. But yeah, I think it'll be a good match, but I would not be surprised. I'll go ahead. There's no points on the line here. I'll go ahead and say Red Velvet wins with a surprise roll-up.
All right, there you go. John Smith, break the tie here.
Give me Jade.
Yeah, right. All right, so as is the theme throughout this episode, we do have two last sets of standings, one last brand personal standing. This one's a little unfair. AEW, I got it again. Ryan almost caught me. I tried to give it away. I couldn't do it. I have about 2 or 3 more shows picked than everybody else on this. Since everybody kind of signed on late. I believe episodes 1 and 2 of the EWP were covering whatever the first event was. Maybe it was Double or Nothing last year, and nobody got their picks or whatever. So this one, I'll take it. I'll be more than happy to put an asterisk next to it because I don't think this was actually fair. So, but I'm sure everyone will have their full set of shows in for next year. I'm sure Travis is going to be in the AEW side, if not all the other ones as well. Ryan, very impressed, and we'll see the overall standing in a second. Very impressed with your comeback. You signed up way late, and you gave everybody their money's worth. I believe going into WrestleMania, we said on Saturday, you were 2 points behind us going into Hard Justice, and I think the 3 of us were tied going into WrestleMania. So that was very, very good, very fun. Before we get into that, though, shout out to John Smith, shout out to Tower Adelle. They had the last perfect pay-per-views of the year. They each nailed Prelude, so that joins their list. Like I said, I went on a little bit of a tear to begin 2021. That's where a lot of my perfects came from. Ryan Joy had 5, John Smith had 5, John DeConnie with 4. Tyler even chimed in as infrequently as he did. He still nailed it. He showed up with 4 pay-per-views, including Prelude from this past Thursday. And that'll bring us to the overall standings. And Roman Reigns got it done for me. It came down to the last match between myself and Ryan. It was a 50-point match. Ryan had me by 30 points. Ryan had Daniel Bryan. I had Roman Reigns. And the Tribal Chief came through to me. He listened to my speech. Vince McMahon listened to my spout out comparing what they would be doing to Roman Reigns if they took the belt off they did the same thing to Enzo Amore. The heat was just dead, and it was just absolute bleep show. But Ryan came in second. The only one of us, he had a lot less shows picked. He was the only one of us that had under 100 losses. John Smith, John DeConnie, they came in a tie at 882. But again, John Smith with more wins, he wins the tiebreaker. And then Tyler, like I said, he unfortunately didn't have play in as many shows. But he decided to go all out with the pick matches that he did pick, and he wanted the most losses, and he achieved that goal. So that will do it for the Pro Wrestling Pick'em, the 2020-21 season. Thank you very much. It'll be a little more competitive next year with everybody competing in all the shows. So I'll take the win, but like I said, I'll put the asterisk next to it.
Yeah, let's work on that scoring system. Let's work on that scoring system.
Yeah, I did. We have revamped points, but we will go over that next week. I don't have graphics for it. There will be more points awarded for more important shows. We will get into that as they happen. I guess on the season, at WrestleMania week, with Impact involved, with the UK involved, and Takeover, and Chris Jericho on Austin's podcast. Talk about the forbidden door, right? Jeez, I know that phrase is thrown around. I watched maybe like the first half hour of it. It was absolutely incredible. I'm sure it got better after that. It was 2 hours, right?
Yeah, a little over 2. It's really good, the whole thing.
Yeah. So I'm just going to get into the closings real quick. We'll get this over and done with, and then we'll get our final comments after that. Clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. The Primetime Rundown, powered by StreamYard with Joey Jarzenka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca, is now airing at 6 p.m. on Friday nights as they take you through the world of sports right here on all the Eastern Observer platforms. For more information, please go to theeasternobserver.com. The Daily Wrestling News Show tune in to the Daily Wrestling News Show Monday through Thursdays at 10 a.m. and get your morning cup of joy with Ryan and his band of merry co-hosts, which includes myself, which includes John DeConnie, John Smith, and Travis Severance. Right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. I do believe you have John DeConnie on. You're going to have Travis on. What are you going to do tomorrow? Who's on tomorrow for you, Ryan?
Well, based on schedule changes, the fact that NXT is tonight, we're going to have John Smith take over Wednesday duties.
All right.
So that we can talk about news coming out of NXT.
Smart idea. He's the NXT champion as well as the senior correspondent. That's a good idea. You also have Brian, the Body Slam Brigade. Over 4,000 subscribers receive this weekly column. The best bathroom read of the week. Make sure you go to minutestobelltime.com to subscribe. That is the Body Slam Brigade by Ryan for you for free. The Black Cats NYC, their new album Free Cake has dropped. Please make sure you go to all of these music platforms to get the new album by the Black Cats NYC. It is called Free Cake. Pandora, Spotify, YouTube Music, anywhere you get your music, you can get the Black Cats NYC. And then this one's for the ladies. If you're upset with the whole process of putting on your eyelashes, let me tell you about these new magnetic and adhesive lashes that my wife is now proudly selling. Take a look at this picture of her, and as you can see, they look like just the eyelashes you put on, but with a magnetic or an adhesive liner. And then the magnetic lashes have 10 tiny magnets that just clip right onto your eyelid. The process is just simplified and hassle-free. So go to Steph's Lovely Lashes on Facebook for more amazing details about these amazing Tori Bell products. It's as easy as lash, liner, boom. Again, these products are vegan-free. They're vegan, and they're not tested on animals. But, of course, if they did test them on animals, they'd look fabulous. Go to ProWrestlingPick'em.com. The new season is upon us. WrestleMania is concluded. I am going to be sitting down all day tomorrow on ProWrestlingPick'em.com, updating all the takeovers and statistics, updating all of the WrestleMania records and statistics, updating all the title histories that I have on there, plus creating the new Essential Wrestling podcast pool that anybody can join. Please feel free to play against us. We'd love for you to prove us wrong. As you can see, we get over 100 matches wrong a year. They're easy for you to get right and beat us. So please go to ProWrestlingPick'em.com and play against your friends. You can create a pool, a private pool with your friends, or you can play against the universe. And guys, she will like it too. And then next week will be episode 50. Oh my God, was this the golden year, the golden episode, right? 50. Episode 50 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. We will be back on at our normal 6 p.m. slot to discuss everything that's going on with the new era of wrestling. We're wrestling 5 days a week now, and you get it twice on Thursdays. We have the weekends off the next 2 weekends before we're back up on pay-per-views with Rebellion. So there's a new era. NXT is going on tonight in about 45 minutes. Then you got Dynamite finally has its own night. And Impact has its own night, but it has the UK in the afternoon, so there's a double dose on Thursday with SmackDown Friday. The new era of wrestling is upon us, and we will be back here to discuss it as always, back again in our 6 p.m. time slot. So we actually did pretty good. We only went 15 minutes over. We still think we gave ourselves the hour, the extra hour, 5 p.m. For those of you who tuned in early with us, we appreciate it. Anything that John DeConnie, anything lastly that you want to tell us, about this week before we move on with the new season?
Just, whew, good Lord, that was a lot. That was a lot of wrestling, and I'm sure I didn't see half as much as Ryan did. I don't know how the man does it, but it was one hell of a week.
That was great. Well, actually, here's a question for you, and I guess we'll maybe conclude this with everything. John, can I go with you first? Do you like the 2-night WrestleMania, or do you want to go back to one?
I loved the 2-night Takeover, but I wouldn't be upset to see them go back to one, as long as as long as we weren't pushing 8 hours and just cramming it all into one. They could chop some matches off the card, and I wouldn't be upset. But I also wouldn't bitch and moan if they continued to do this. Because it made for a hell of a week.
Getting around, John Smith, is that this would be the last year they're doing 2 nights. So
I'm fine with that because WrestleMania is once a year. So give me noon to 11 p.m. I don't care. Give me an 11-hour show. Give me 45 matches as long as they're good. It's 1 day a year. I don't know why people are like acting like they're little bitty babies and they need their blankies and they got everybody goes out to Super Bowl parties. Everybody goes out for New Year's Eve. We're all watching the clock strike midnight then. Why can't we do it with WrestleMania? And another thing, I was doing some calculations. I've been on that 1,000-day Walter thing. He hits 1,000 days on December 30th this year, which means if they were to, and that's a Thursday. So if they were to schedule some sort of pay-per-view on that Friday or Saturday, he could lose it at the end of this year and still get his 1,000 days.
Wow. So Johnson, taking shots at wrestling fans for complaining or getting, they're complaining about getting too much wrestling. That's absolutely starting. They're giving us too much. Ryan Joy, like I said, as John DeConnie said, you were busier than anybody. You got your WrestleMania zip-up hoodie. You got your Bella Army hat. You got your Deadly Game skull. I guess they ripped off, there goes WrestleMania 37 ripping off the Survivor Series. For those of you who don't know, the Deadly Games started to survive the 1998 Survivor Series. They had a skull in the entrance, the Deadly Games tournament. Anyway, but Ryan, if you can, I guess, sum up everything from your end, what do you think? Do you want to go back to one night? What do you want to do here?
I really like Saturday as a day for pay-per-views. So if they go back to one day, I request that it's Saturday. But I'm good either way. I do. I'm sorry, John. I like the shorter shows, but I'll be fine if it's those two short shows combined into one day and it's Saturday. That's better than Sunday, I think.
All right. I can know just I was poking around with the wrestling fans too, complaining about too much, but I can see if you're sitting in the crowd for 6 hours, 7 hours, I can see how that's a little much. But I like the 2 days. I like the 2 days because it gets more on it. Like I said, last year or 2 years ago, right at 36, we wouldn't have gotten Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley. We wouldn't have gotten that match. We wouldn't have gotten maybe a women's title. There's a lot of stuff we wouldn't have got even this year. If it was one night, we might have not gotten Cesaro and Seth Rollins. It would have been like Rollins, Zayn, Corbin, and this guy versus this guy. It would have been a car crash. All in a ladder match for the U.S. title. I don't know. I like the community. It's more of an older school feel where there's more one-on-ones instead of a 7-man ladder match for the Intercontinental. Not that those matches are bad; those matches are fun, but every once in a while,
If you have a 12-hour live show, you have a lot of really drunk people at the end.
Yeah, and if they even make it to the end, it's amateur night at WrestleMania, right? You're getting bleepy in the parking lot, and you're asleep before the Miz will put you to sleep. So I guess that'll do it for WrestleMania. We are done early, about 40 minutes until the new season starts. The new season started last night, but the new NXT, we get to see our 2 new champions, our 4 new champions tonight, right? We got 4 new champions with the 2 tag teams, MSK and then Raquel and Karrion. So thank you so much for joining us early today. We appreciate it. For Ryan Joy, for John Smith, for John DeConnie, what are you up to, Alexa? We love you. We love what you're doing here. Tegan, hopefully maybe tonight. John Smith, can we see her tonight?
I hope so, man. Like, where the heck is she? Her injury wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I blew out my quad this morning. Look at me. I'm hopping around fine.
Ivar's back. What the heck?
You remember when Kurt Angle, why are they making such a big deal of it? I tore my quad this morning. Look at me. I'm fine. John DeConnie, take it home.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.